Our CFL team is led by Tracy Ham, and he sparked the team in their first year to a record of 12-6, throwing 30 touchdown passes. Speaking of leading, the veteran head coach Jack Pardee has landed in the CFL, and he'll lead the Barracudas in 1995. He has tabbed as the starting quarterback tonight. Reggie Slack in for the injured Matt Dunnigan. And this South Florida businessman tests the waters here tonight in the Owange Bow. Bruce Fry wants to bring the CFL to South Florida. Next on Prime Sports. Prime Sports presents from the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, the Pacific Era Florida CFL benefit game. Tonight's matchup, a final preseason test for Baltimore, last year a finalist of the Grey Cup, and the expansion hopeful Birmingham Barracudas. Good evening, everyone. Jeff River inviting you to join us here for CFL football on Prime Sports. I'm joined by former National Football League great Tom Matte, a long and distinguished career with the NFL Colts from Baltimore. And, of course, this effort tonight, a benefit game for those unfortunate in that Oklahoma City disaster. And we'll have more to say on that throughout tonight's telecast. But certainly to speak more on the CFL and the inaugural year in Baltimore, Tom Matte. And, Tom, your first taste of the CFL last year, and I know you enjoyed it immensely.
Well, Jeff, it was an exciting year for us. Being a franchise starting up new, coming up with the greatest record of any franchise team that ever started in any sport was really a great response by the people of Baltimore. They came out, supported the team, and it was just fun, wide open, wild football.
Certainly history will be made this fall, 1995, in the CFL as Jack Pardee assumes the reins, and Mr. Pardee will become the first person ever to coach in the CFL, NFL, USFL, WFL, and Division I in college ranks with Houston.
Well, Jack Pardee's an old friend of mine. Played a couple of years in a Pro Bowl with him. This guy is really a great leader on the field. He comes out with that run-and-shoot offense, so it should be exciting football.
Speaking of leaders, we talked earlier of Tracy Ham. Obviously a key member of the club last year for Baltimore, and again this season, former Atlanta Falcon Mike Pringle.
Mike Pringle had a great year, set a new record for rushing, almost reached that 2,000 mark, had 16 touchdowns. He's a kid that can hide behind those blockers, has great momentum, great balance, really picks his holes and runs them well.
And the starting quarterbacks tonight on both sides of the football field. Reggie Slack in for the injured Matt Dunnigan, and Tracy Ham. 30 touchdown passes last year. Coming up, CFL football on Prime Sports. Matthews, a longtime veteran CFL coach, against a longtime coach but a rookie in the CFL, Jack Pardee. And we are set for the opening kickoff. Josh Miller will kick off to McCody and Crawford. There are some rule differences between the National Football League and for the CFL newcomers. 12 players on each side of the ball as compared to 11. A wider and longer field, and 3 downs to the conventional 4. We are set for the kickoff. Josh Miller, who tonight, surprisingly, Tom Matte, taking the kickoffs as opposed to the former Miami great, Carlos Huerta.
Exactly. He was a leading punter last year in the CFL, so this is sort of unexpected.
And Miller has kicked off from the 35 on the far side. Matt Cody fields the ball on the fly. He gets inside, almost to the hash mark before he's pulled down at the 25-yard line by Alvin Walton, the former Redskin. 5-yard return on the kickoff by Josh Miller, and Birmingham, led by Reggie Slack on the field, and they will scrimmage the football from the 25-yard line.
Reggie Slack is a quarterback that we really have to watch as far as him being able to get outside the pocket with his maneuverability, Jeff. He's got that great momentum to screen around there, be able to pick his hole and run very well.
And Slack certainly last year dampened the hearts on one occasion against this Baltimore team. Slack throws right and tackled immediately out of bounds. A 4-yard gain.
You know, Jeff, there's a kind of tackle that we're welcome to the CFL, they say, because that was just a great tackle, good throw, just a short rollout to the right side, a rolling pocket on that, and Reggie hits the receiver, just taking a 3-yard out.
Manny Hazard, the reception, a gain of 4, it's 2nd and 6. The ball spotted on the far hash mark at the 29-yard line. Baltimore a winner last week over Ottawa. Birmingham loses their debut to Shreveport. They'll open up the season on the 4th of July against Winnipeg. Slack looking to the near side. The intended receiver was Willie McClendon. And this will bring up a punting situation.
Jeff, this is the one thing that the fans have got to get used to. It's 3 downs, only 3 downs in the CFL. So after that 2nd down, if you don't get that big yardage in the first one, really puts a pressure on the offense to get it. They come up short. Birmingham will have to punt.
And doing the punting is Scott Player, who Coach Jack Pardee told me was very pleased with his first performance a week ago. Decent hang time and decent yardage. And the Player punt, a high kick, fielded on the far side. That's Lester Smith. Smith dancing inside between the hash marks, met by a host of tacklers, and dropped at the 30, I think at the 42-yard line. 37-yard punt, 2-yard return.
Good hang time on that, Jeff. That had to be in the 4-second to 4.5-second hang time. That's what you want to do. But again, you have to remember that you've got to be able to get him 5 yards to catch the ball. So there are no fair catches in CFL football.
Tracy Ham, the starting quarterback. What a great year for Tracy Ham. 2nd in the CFL in 94 with 4,398 yards passing, 3rd in touchdowns with a total of 30. Back in the shotgun, the handoff to Pringle. Pringle dances for 5 and gets to the 47-yard line before he is pulled down.
Jeff, again, the big offensive line that Baltimore has averages over right around that 300-yard mark that gave Pringle the opportunity last year to almost gain 2,000 yards rushing. And again, Tracy Ham with the hurry-up offense, 20-second clock.
1,972 yards rushing, a CFL record for the former star at Cal State Fullerton. Ham back once more in the shotgun formation. 2nd down, 7 to go. Ham, good protection, throws to Pringle. Pringle's got the first down and more as he crosses center field. Fumbles the football. The ball's still bouncing before it is smothered inside the 40-yard line at the 39 by Eddie Davis. And the turnover gives the Barracudas their 2nd run from scrimmage.
Good running by Pringle on that one, but again, you've got to cover up the ball. He caught the little quick flare to the outside and really turned it into a big gainer.
The CFL on Prime Sports. Jeff Hermer, Tom Addy back on Prime Sports for tonight's exhibition encounter from the Orange Bowl. And the first turnover of the football game, Tom.
Again, right here, it's just a quick pass, outlet pass to Pringle. Good running again here, but watch Drawhorn come in, pops the ball loose. Ball's a bouncing thing out there. Somebody's going to jump on it. And Birmingham comes up with the fumble. Those are the kind of things that Birmingham has to do as a young team, is to be able to get that ratio of turnovers in their favor.
Eddie Davis with a fumble recovery. Reggie Slack gets a 2nd opportunity, and we should mention right here early that Matt Dunnigan, one of the all-time great quarterbacks, the marquee player on this Birmingham team, expected back for the start of the regular season, the 4th of July, against his former team, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Slack, good protection, looks downfield over the intended receiver. That ball intended for Manny Hazard, and Slack has got a pretty good arm, overthrowing Hazard. It'll be 2nd down. A look at the defensive line, led by Angelo Snipes, CFL star for a few years. The linebackers, led by Jimmy Reed. And in the defensive backfield, Junior Thurman, the former Calgary Stampeder. Eddie Davis, the cornerback, who came up with that fumble recovery. 23-yard completion, by the way, by Tracy Ham before the fumble by Pringle and the recovery by Davis. 2nd down. Again, Slack looks to the near side of the field. And incomplete.
Stop it. Stop it.
This is the one thing,
for the intended receiver.
the one thing that they do here, Jeff, is Birmingham has a tendency to go up on that long ball all the time. If you watch their receivers from the slot and the wing, they do a lot of takeoff patterns, really set up that thing, and they go after you. They've got some guys who can jump up in the air and catch the ball. But I'd like to say a little thing about my opinion of Matt Dunnigan. I think he's a premier quarterback in the league as far as I'm concerned, and Birmingham is very lucky to have him.
Well, I'll tell you, Dunnigan's had some tremendous success in this league and very much a leader. And the folks in Birmingham are going to enjoy the football that Dunnigan plays in this inaugural year in Birmingham for the CFL Barracudas. Willie McClendon straight ahead. And it'll be a punting situation.
You know, Jeff, last week, the fullback, they go with the one-back offense back there because they're primarily a passing team. But McClendon, he had 4 carries last week, and one of the other backs, I think, had 1. So they don't run the ball too much. They really roll out and throw that football, keep it up in the air, something that Jack Pardee's been famous for a long time.
Blair with his second punt of the evening. Hey, let's let this one go from the 35-yard line. Not the same height or hand top that first one had. There's a flag down. Chris Wright returning that punt. It will be a no-yards penalty. Maybe you can talk in terms of that 5-yard no-yards penalty. Tom?
Well, Jeff, I don't think they just marked it where they had caught the ball, that there was no the 5-yard penalty. What you have to do when you're back on receiving, there are no fair catches. So what the defensive team does coming down under coverage has got to give that receiver or 5 yards to catch the ball and make a move, then they're allowed to hit him.
Tracy Ham steps behind the center, Subas. Second run for scrimmage for Baltimore. Fake. Ham rolls right, looks downfield. Oh! Over the intended receiver, Reggie Perry. And certainly great faith there up the middle to Pringle, and that drew quite a crowd. Starting lineup, of course, Tracy Ham, Pringle, and Tupeluto in the backfield. Wilson, Clark, Armstrong, and Alexander. Pretty good receiving core. Offensive line led by Fort Earl, the center Subas, and Sharp Portnash, top offensive lineman in his rookie year last year in the CFL.
Yeah, the other girl back you up on that.
Second down, 10 yards to go. 10:56 left to go in this first quarter. Ham in the shotgun. Again, great protection. A pass complete at the 35-yard line to Tupeluto, who gets back up before met by a host of Barracuda tacklers led by Eddie Davis.
Again, Jeff, on that one, it was just an outlet pattern to the fullback, Peter Tupeluto. He's got the softest hands on the team. He and Chris Armstrong got great hands, go into the crowd, catch the ball. But that was just led a little bit too far for him. If he could have kept his balance, I believe he could have gotten the first down.
3rd and 3. A punting situation for Josh Miller. And again, Mac Cody and Derek Crawford back to receive the punt.
You're on it. Move up.
Clock running. All kinds of motion in the backfield as folks that are newcomers to the CFL brand of football. Tom Maddie and I will explain the rules as we go. Great punt by Miller. Matt Cody fielding inside the 30. And is tackled at the 35-yard line. 46-yard punt, 7-yard return. It'll be first down and 10. For the Barracudas, they will scrimmage the ball from the 34.5-yard line.
Josh Miller, one of the great punters in the league last year, led the league. Again, great hang time on his part. The thing about Josh is he's not only a great punter, he's just a good athlete. Last week on one of the kickoff return, on one of the punt returns, guy broke one for about 58 yards. Josh Miller chased him down and tackled him.
There he is. Marks up the signal. He's expected to go the first half for Jack Pardee. Pass thrown out of bounds. The intended receiver was Jason Phillips. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Birmingham.
Just a quick out pattern again with Reggie Slack rolling to the weak side of the formation. The fullbacks coming up and blocking, and these are some of the things that we should really talk about. the one-point rouge. Now, everybody's going to have wonder what that's all about, and it's a one-pointer when the ball goes through the end zone on either a punt or stays in the end zone or a field goal. You get 1 point for it. And the thing on defense that you have to remember is a 1-yard line of scrimmage where the defense has to stay off the ball for 1 yard.
2nd and 10 from the 35. Slack 1 for 4. Looks to the far side of the field, and the ball is caught by number 19, Donald Moffett. Well short of the first down, and this will bring up another punting situation.
Again, this is just feeling each other out, Jeff. Both teams right now are trying to get a feel of what the defenses are, whether man-to-man or zone coverages. And I think now you're going to see some much more open football happening. Both teams being very cautious. These guys are a lot of rookies out here vying for positions, a lot of guys going for jobs. This night is very important to a lot of young football players out there on both teams.
Jack Pardee telling us that he's got some decisions to make. 55 players dressed for tonight's game. We've got to get down to that 37-man limit. Chris Wright fielding it at the 22. Finds some open room. Gets back past the 30 to the 34-yard line before he's tripped up. And with a timeout, we'll step aside. It's the CFL on Prime Sports from the Orange Bowl in Miami.
The Baltimore Football Club's season home opener, Saturday, July 8th, as the Big Bad and Blue Crew brand the San Antonio Texans. We'll get the party started while the division championship flag soars high above Memorial Stadium. Then join in the celebration as the Baltimore Football Club.
Hurricanes hit, and this is one way that Miami can pay back some of the great things that happened after that, and with the great tragedy we had in Oklahoma City.
Impressive numbers for Tracy Ham a year ago. He was the franchise player. And here, hands off. Pringle in the backfield. Pringle tries to dance away from a couple of oncoming tacklers, and that is met perhaps behind the line of scrimmage. Nakaba Delaney leading the way. There's a look at the defensive line led by Angelo Snipes. Reed, Moulton, and James, the linebackers, and the defensive backfield. Ham in shotgun formation. 2nd and 12, a loss of 2 on that Pringle run. Ham steps out of the pocket, looks downfield. Ham throws long, wide open. First down into Barracuda territory. Reggie Perry with a big first down before tackled at the 38-yard line.
Again, Jeff, that's the ability that Tracy Ham has as a quarterback. The great pressure in there, good coverage by Birmingham, but again, he has the capabilities of rolling back to that outside, and watch him flick the ball on this. This is a hard throw for any quarterback, but boy, he's got a lot of zing on that ball, right on the money, and a good reception, good tackle by Birmingham.
43-yard pass and run play. Or the defender.
Little timeout down on the field down there. The defender, after making a tackle from Birmingham, got banged up over there. Trainers running on the field. I don't think it's anything serious, but you're always concerned. There's a lot of heat in this ballpark, and it's going to take its toll on the players tonight. When I played in a game like this, Jeff, I'd lose anywhere from 12 to 17 pounds in a night, which is a lot of water. And back in those days, I can laugh. Back in those days, we weren't allowed to have too much water. Now they feed them everything they can get in them.
Well, a 43-yard reception and a first down, giving us an opportunity to promote the fact that the Barracudas have 3 big upcoming games. We hope to see you in Birmingham to see the first year Barracudas in the CFL. Game time temperature 84 degrees. Tom talks about the heat. I think beyond the heat, it's the humidity.
Humidity.
80%. Wind 7 miles an hour. Here's a handoff to Pringle. Big hole. And Pringle picks up a good 6-7 yards on that one.
Again, right there, you'll be able to see the quick start that Pringle has coming down the backfield. But it's offsides on Birmingham. A little jump on the call. Here's the official.
No, it doesn't. Second down.
First down.
Second down.
He picked up 10 yards on the play, Jeff, on that one. It looks like almost. See, it's a first down call. The boys haven't moved the markers down there on the field yet.
They're going to move them now.
They're moving them right now. Good run by Pringle. Good blocking by the offensive line.
The run wasn't the first down, but with the penalty, they move it. They nullify the penalty and then move the markers for the first down. Here's Ham in the shotgun formation. Ham now out of the pocket. Ham will run it himself. He loves to run that football. And Ham last year rushed for 613 yards. Tackled here by Snipes. But he picked up some valuable real estate.
Again, here's the capabilities that Ham has. He sees that opening right there, picks it up, and if you really take a look, he's almost like a running back running that football because he's got that halfback body. He's sort of short, squatty, and I'll tell you, he's a very powerful young guy.
Pringle, the ball carrier, straight ahead, and he is met by a host of tacklers for little or no gain. Snipes and Delaney sending Pringle back, denying him some valuable real estate.
But he gets the first down on the play again, just firing off at that line up in front. The big offensive line of Baltimore pushed him back, gave Pringle enough daylight to pick up the first down.
4 carries, 12 yards for Pringle tonight. 6:12 left to go. First quarter. Pringle the lone back. Tracy Ham over the middle, touchdown! The ball caught by Chris Armstrong, and Baltimore first on the scoreboard.
That pass play right there is the trademark of Chris Armstrong, right over the middle, just a post pattern from that slot position. And again, Tracy puts it right on the money for Chris Armstrong. The thing, Jeff, about those end zones here, later on, if a team does come here and a franchise is put in Miami, they'll extend those end zones. But because of the size of the stadium, those end zones are only 13 yards instead of the 20-yard end zone.
Armstrong, Baltimore's big play receiver, beats Tommy Oates for that touchdown. Led the team in all 3 receiving categories last year. Catches, yards, and touchdowns with 18. Carlos Huerta, the former Miami Hurricane, with the extra point attempt. And it's good. Huerta, a homecoming tonight here in the Orange Bowl, and Baltimore leads.
Carlos Huerta is the kind of guy that has been such a great addition to the Baltimore club. Donald Igwe-Bike, who was our kicker for Baltimore last year, has just got him back into the country because he had some but Carlos Huerta was number 1.
Well, Huerta telling folks here in South Florida this week that he had a chance to go to the National Football League. His former head coach, formerly here with Miami, Dennis Erickson, now with the Seattle Seahawks, wanted him. But, of course, Huerta last year kicking for the now defunct Las Vegas Posse, and in the dispersal draft of Las Vegas players, Baltimore made him their number 1 selection, and they're glad they did.
Well, he had a 2-year contract with Las Vegas, so I would say that Carlos, having the efficiency he had, I think he had something like 10 out of 12 between the 50 and 55-yard line with an 87% efficiency for kicking, so he's something that everybody's looking at.
Here's Josh Miller with a kickoff. Far side, Matt Cody to the 20, 25, tries to cut inside, then goes straight ahead to the 30-yard line before he is pulled out.
Jeff, one of the things that you try to do in the CFL with the wide field, and everybody has to understand that this field is 65 yards wide, so what you're trying to do is kick him into a coffin corner so that your coverage can get around. What the kickers will try to do is bounce back to the
Caught by Walter Wilson, and he is brought down to the 40-yard line.
Walter Wilson, nicknamed the franchise. He's a young player from Baltimore, came up through the ranks, and has really done a good job. Caught 50 balls last year for Baltimore, one of the leading receivers on the team. He's fighting for a job as well as all these guys out there tonight. They've got some additions that are really adding to the quality of play for the Baltimore football team.
Second down, 6 to go. Ham back in shotgun formation. To Paluto and Pringle at his side. Good protection. Ham looks downfield, looking. Walter Wilson in and out of his hands at the 40-yard line. Wilson short, Wilson long.
Franchise spiked that one after that time, but it was a great throw by Tracy Ham, stepping up in the pocket. Good pressure from Birmingham coming up the middle, but Tracy had enough time to throw it. You can see the defensive player coming right into the face of Tracy. Tracy gets the ball off, and Franchise makes a great catch on that one.
I'll tell you what, Walter Wilson out of East Carolina, almost with a terrific reception. Good effort. Pringle off tackle.
Sharp or Donish Withacombe. Withacombe's a new addition this year. Played a lot in the NFL, bounced around a lot. But here's another guy that's got great height and great strength, 6'5", 300 pounds.
First and 10, the ball on the 27. And again to Pringle. And Pringle goes straight ahead after picking up the first down of the previous play, 21 yards and 6 carries overall. Again, a workhorse effort tonight. Fred Petty with the tackle.
One of the guys on defense for Birmingham, who I think is one of the real assets. Here's a guy who played as a safety in college, put on about 40 pounds. Number 56, Shante Peoples, is one of the real impact players on the defense for Birmingham. He's the kind of guy that you could build a defense around.
Second and 5 from the 22. Wide open to Paluto, and with those soft hands, it looks like he has picked up yet another first down. Eddie Davis with the tackle. They'll move those yard markers, making this now close to a first and goal situation.
Again, what Baltimore's trying to do is let Tracy Ham call his game out there. He calls every play right at the line of scrimmage, which is amazing to me because I figure the defense got to pick up on something along the line here, but right now, Tracy doing a great job.
Ball marked on the 12-yard line. Ham rolls left, looking, throws him in the end zone. Is it caught? Touchdown! Shannon Culver, who is fighting for a position on this football club with that touchdown reception, and Baltimore with a second touchdown pass off the arm of Tracy Ham, moves up 13-0.
A great deception play here, Jeff. Watch again. Watch faking. Pringle up there. Just rolling back to the weak side out there. And good old Shannon over there. Just a perfect throw right on the money. Keeps his feet in. Only have to have one in the CFL. Remember that. Only one. Knocks over the guard gates. This is a great story about this young player here, Jeff. Last year, he and Don Matthews had a little bit of a confrontation. He quit right at the beginning of the season. Came back and apologized. Don Matthews gave him that second chance, and they call him skinny, and up there he's just like a little beanpole out there that can go up and catch the football.
Fernando Thomas, the cornerback, beaten on that play by Culver, and Baltimore with the extra point now leads 14-0. 55 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
Jeff, this field down here is one of probably the premier playing fields in the whole country. Yeah, I was down on it before. I had a lot of great games here in the Orange Bowl when Miami used to play here, and played a couple Super Bowls here, Super Bowl III, Super Bowl V that I was participating in. And I was showing Bruce Cunningham, our radio guy, says right down there at about the 18-yard line is where a linebacker caught me on my longest run from scrimmage.
7 plays, 73 yards, 3 minutes, 49 seconds. It takes Baltimore to take that Culver 12-yard reception, a 14-0 lead. And there's Shannon Culver fighting for a spot on the Baltimore Football Club here in 1995. Josh Miller will kick off from the 35. Cody and Crawford set to receive. And again, it is Cody. Cody pulled down at the 38-yard line of the kickoff return. Reggie Slack and the offense come out. A 16-yard return for Cody.
Good return by Cody.
50 seconds left to go. Reggie Slack last year had some success, as we mentioned, against Baltimore. Hamilton and Toronto were the two teams he played for in the 1994 season. Slack with protection. Looks downfield, wide open, the receiver. The ball thrown out of bounds. Eric Crawford, the intended receiver.
Looks like there could be a holding penalty against Birmingham. Gerald Bayless, the captain on the defense back there. Gerald Bayless was the MVP as far as the defense in '93.
Ball against Birmingham. The penalty is declined.
And Jeff Bayless had a knee operation in the offseason and played at about 280, 285 last year. Came back in, lost about 25 pounds, so he's a much quicker nose tackle right now.
27 seconds and counting remaining. First quarter. Slack. That ball tipped off the forward motion and well away from the intended receiver downfield.
Again, the defense putting pressure in, coming in from the backside and just hitting Reggie's arm as he let the ball go. Watch on the backside up in the top right-hand corner. Peyton coming in right there, just hitting the ball as he's releasing it. You can see it looks like one of those ducks I used to throw. We used to call that an option ball, Jeff. You can catch it either end.
There's Peyton. Boy, what a great year he had. Last year, joining the club after 6 games, 11 games, he was an impact player, says Coach Matthews. 4 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, and certainly a key member of that Grey Cup team. The team that lost the BC Lions in the last second field goal. Chris Wright, the punt return as the gun goes to end the first quarter. And 2 touchdown passes by Tracy Ham as Baltimore leading to the host Birmingham Barracudas 14-0. The CFL on Pringle takes the handoff, and Pringle gets to the 45-yard line.
Good pressure from the Birmingham defense coming up, keeping Pringle from getting back to the outside. Guard pulled out right around and hit it down.
Upcoming, Baltimore's 3 home games against San Antonio, Winnipeg, and Memphis. For further information, call 410-554-1040.
Back in Baltimore, give them a call. Lots of good tickets remaining in Baltimore for those games. Come on out and see great football.
Ham in the shotgun formation. Again, great protection. Looks downfield, and it's caught at the Barracuda 50-yard line for a first down. Chris Armstrong on the receiving end of another Tracy Ham pass.
Chris Armstrong, the premier receiver, will go inside, will go outside, runs from that slot formation. He's got great soft hands. Runs a post pattern as well as I've seen anybody in any league run it. Good size for him.
There's Armstrong, 2 receptions, 28 yards, 177 yards in offense for Baltimore in the first quarter. In comparison, Birmingham had but 48.
Number 45 coming up on the tackle that time, Kyle Faulkner for Birmingham. Came in, really drove Pringle right back into the backfield. Good tackle by on the defense.
Nice football jerseys, but tough for the broadcast to read the numbers.
It is, a little small number on the front.
Ham. Shotgun formation, looks high side of the field. And no one in the general vicinity. Chris Armstrong was the intended receiver. And it'll be 3rd down and 10 in a punting situation, bringing on Josh Miller and sending Ham to the sideline.
That time it looked like there was a little miscommunication in the Baltimore backfield. They didn't get the takeoff pattern that he had set up to throw that one, so Tracy threw it away.
Tom, quickly for folks being exposed to this game and Birmingham tuning in tonight, a little more motion in the backfield and a very quick game, isn't it?
Well, you got the 20-second clock, and you can have 5 guys in motion running up towards the line of scrimmage, so you don't see the bump and run that you see in the NFL, because these backs, if you try to bump them, they'll go right by you, and that's 6 points.
Flag on the play. And little or no return for Matt Cody. He's inside his own 10-yard line. We'll wait and see the flag.
Yes!
Officials have not confirmed. Timeout has been called as the officials decide why the flags were thrown. It's the CFL on Prime Sports. Baltimore leads 14-0. 14-0. You see the time remaining in the second quarter. Birmingham, the Barracudas, will open up on the 4th of July at Winnipeg. Their first 3 home games, Hamilton, Saskatchewan, and these same Baltimore football types. While for Baltimore, their first 3 home games against San Antonio, Winnipeg, and Memphis.
Jeff, third down and inches to go. Again, now here's where you've got to take into consideration the defense has got to be off of the ball for 1 yard.
Tom, Birmingham was penalized for too many men on the field. So Jack Pardee and the coaching staff still working out the kinks, learning a new game. And they now looking at a 3rd and inches situation. Ham straight ahead.
The ball carrier.
And I believe he'll have that first down. Kyle Faulkner
made the stop.
making the stop. And let's see where they spot this football.
Let's see where they spot. This is an important spot. It's going to be a close call. Good defense by Birmingham. Again, just piling up the middle. Just because you're 1 yard off the ball doesn't mean you're going to get it. If they fire off on that defense, and what the quarterback really has to do, and I think they've stopped him, he's got to fall forward and fire out in between the guard and the tackle.
Well, it was 3rd and inches going in.
He got it.
And he got those inches on the nose of that football. First down.
Again, good defense by Birmingham, really stopping him. Watch Tracy Ham again right here, trying to pick a hole and falling forward. Even though there's that 1 yard, the Birmingham defense got down and dirty, got underneath those guys and came up. And it was a close call.
Coach Matthews, longtime veteran, also coached in the World League. Did a great job in recruiting the personnel for this football club. And there's an offside. Flags on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
A quick count that time, Jeff, and somebody on the defense yelled, and off went those offensive linemen.
Illegal procedure against Baltimore.
Procedure, over 65. First down repeated.
Again, watch Big John Withacombe come right through there. Or Mike Withacombe, I'm sorry, Mike.
So Ham now will scrimmage 1st and 15. The ball on the 45-yard line. Straight back to pass. Hands off to Pringle. All kinds of room. And Pringle will pick up close to that first down.
And
maybe a yard and a half short.
And the flag flew out, and there's a holding penalty against Baltimore. No wonder he had a big hole running through there.
Matthews, the tackler on Pringle, but a holding call will nullify this gain and send Baltimore further back.
Holding, Baltimore, number 65. First down repeated.
Again, watch the hole open up here for Pringle. Flag comes out. Good running again. Watch how he covers that ball up as he's going through. Reaches on out there, trying to get the extra yardage. But the holding penalty nullifies that. Withacombe was holding on that Big Mike, number 65, 6'5", 300 pounds.
He's a 30-year CFL veteran. He has played in some NFL camps for the Jets, Steelers, last year with Cleveland.
He's been all around the league.
Here's Ham, 1st and 25. Rolls out of the pocket, away from the oncoming rush. Now Ham will keep, passes the 50 to the 45-yard line before he is pulled down.
Jeff, what a great move Tracy Ham makes on the back coming up to make the tackle. Gives him that limp leg to the inside and just does a spin out and picks up about 5 or 6 extra yards on the play. Again, watch it when he sets up here. You'll see the pressure coming in from Birmingham on the defense. He sees it, bounces back to the outside. Now watch when he comes down the sideline here. He keeps that arm cocked. Great spin move there. Another one, watch him come right in here.
See why he picked up 613 yards last year. Ledbetter and Matthews bringing Ham down. It's 1st and 16. The ball spotted, make that second down and 16. The ball spotted on the 48-yard line. Here's a pass to far side. It was Coleman. And it will be short of the first down. a punting situation for Baltimore, bringing Josh Miller off the bench.
Jeff, that last week, that one, last year, that play was very effective for Baltimore.
This will not bring Josh Miller out, but Carlos Huerta with a 51-yard attempt.
He's had a little bit of practice in this stadium.
Crowley, the former quarterback from Towson State, the holder. Here's Huerta, and this one is wide right.
Kicking is wide. There's a penalty marker now.
Flag on the field.
By
possibly an offside call here.
And I think Carlos will get another opportunity, except from 46 yards this time. Just move it up 5 yards. A little quick jump on the defense on Birmingham.
Offside. Number 76, Birmingham.
Delaney, the player that caused the infraction. So Huerta will get a second shot at it. Crowley will spot the ball at the 47-yard line. Huerta with a second attempt from the right hash mark. This one is up and good. 47-yard field goal for Carlos Huerta, and Baltimore leads the expansion Birmingham Barracudas here on Prime Sports.
Eastbrook football.
Birmingham that sort of really killed all their drives, or a lot of them, is they had 17 penalties for 143 yards last week. That penalty right there cost Birmingham 3 points. That extra 5 yards gave Carlos Huerta the opportunity to score.
Well, Jimmy Klingler out of Houston came out as a junior, the younger brother of David Klingler. Expected to play a half of football. Starts here in the second quarter in his first pass attempt. Goes incomplete. Rodney Dickerson, the intended receiver.
Again, Jeff, you're going to see an offside because the receivers have crossed that line of scrimmage prior to the snap. New quarterback coming in, different cadence. They've got to get used to it. This is one of the things that they did last week, Birmingham did. What they did is they had 7 penalties last week with just that exact thing happening.
Well, again, it's the infamiliarity of, obviously, this brand of football. The hope is for Jack Pardee, as he was telling us this morning, that half his football team will at least have some CFL experience when all is said and done. Klingler looks down the field. He was hit just as he let the reception go, or the pass go, and the reception denied, but a flag on the play. Gravely here may be called for pass interference. Manny Hazard, the intended receiver.
A good call by the official. Gravely, again, just getting there, but putting his arm around him, bringing him as a takedown there was a good wrestling move on that one to bring him down, but good call by the official. Birmingham.
Number 7, Baltimore. First down.
29-yard gain on that pass interference call, moving the yardsticks into Baltimore territory.
If you really take a look at this first quarter statistics, Jeff, the thing that was amazing is that Birmingham only had 1 first down, 48 total yards in the first quarter. This is the biggest play they've had so far.
How about this run-and-shoot offense? And certainly Klingler is someone familiar with it, having formerly, of course, played college football with that run-and-shoot at Houston. And here with a quick toss. That ball caught in bounds.
Yes, it was.
Manny Hazard with a reception right on the line.
Again, that semi-rollout to the weak side, just doing with a quick out there. Manny Hazard does catch the ball and is staying down a little bit.
Hazard hit just after catching that football.
Could have landed right on the ball, Jeff. Maybe knocked the wind out, it looks like, that's all.
8:57, the clock running. 2nd and 5. The ball on the 40-yard line. Barracuda with their deepest penetration yet. Here's a quick pass once more. The intended receiver was Donald Moffett.
Again, Klingler trying to establish something underneath the deep patterns. That time, again, just trying to hit the quick out there to get the first down, but it puts him into a field goal situation. Right on the 40-yard line, about a 47-yard, 48-yard field goal.
And they're going to attempt this. Franco Grilla will attempt this one. Reggie Slack holding. Ball will be spotted at the 47-yard line. So 47-yard field goal attempt for Grilla. Looking to get the Barracudas on the scoreboard. It trails 17-0. Now spotted and looks like it is short. Just a little wide right. The return. Chris Wright, he's got some running room as he goes to the far side of the field. Good return for Wright.
Again, that wide side of the field is so important. And whenever you kick, you've got to get down there because they really do. With the speed that Chris Wright has, he got back to the outside that time and really came up with a big kick return, giving much better field position. Again, here's a replay on it. You can see him breaking to the outside. If he'd have kept going to the outside, I think he'd even picked up more yardage on that play. Birmingham comes up with a good defensive play and saving a big long gainer.
1st and 10. The ball on the Baltimore 40-yard line. Sean Jones now in at quarterback. Jones the handoff. And straight up the middle, we've got flags, all kinds of flags on the play. Pringle, the ball carrier, straight ahead. We'll have to wait and see what the flags on both sides of the football are for. Any idea, Tom?
No, I didn't see the play. It looked like it could be holding on Baltimore.
Birmingham, too many men.
Oh.
Baltimore, number 65, holding. Repeat the first down.
Well, that'll pretty well be self-explanatory.
Yes, it will. Offsetting penalties, play the down over. Again, these are the mistakes that you make during the exhibition game, and with a new franchise like Birmingham, there are going to be, mistakes happening until they get used to the CFL rules and the way they run the game.
Former Georgia Tech quarterback Sean Jones, likely the backup this year. There's a perfect pitch to Chris Armstrong for a first down into the Barracudas territory.
Again, Sean Jones last week came on in the second half of the first exhibition game against Ottawa and had a great second half. Really put 3 touchdown passes up there. Again, watch the throw here. He drops it right in. It was a flood pattern with 3 guys coming across there. The linebacker, Mike James, right in the coverage, trying to cover him.
John Kajemi, the backup last year in Baltimore. Jones expected to step up, and still the former Towson State quarterback, Crowley here on the roster as well. Mike Pringle, the ball carrier.
Angelo Snipes made the tackle.
Veteran Snipes with the tackle, one of the premier players for the BC Lions, Grey Cup champions a year ago.
One of the most respected guys. He has one of the great pass rushes in the league. Here's a guy that's going to be an impact player for Birmingham. He's got that speed and size to be able to get around the corner and put the pressure on the quarterback.
15 sacks in the last 3 years for Snipes. Here's Pringle again. He's got some running room. And will pick up a first down to the 35-yard line of Birmingham.
Jeff, again, what you see here is a big offensive line. You take a look at Pringle. He's 5'9". He's just small in stature, but he's very powerful. He weighs 195 pounds, but he gets behind those big offensive linemen and just sort of picks his hole.
Now, folks tuning in and getting their first taste of the CFL can see why this young man last year was the outstanding player in the CFL. Here's a pass attempt. More, and that one picked off. A tremendous reception by Drawhorn, the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider. And that one taken literally out of the arms of the Baltimore receiver, the intended receiver, Chris Armstrong. So Jones throws an INT, and the Barracudas take over deep in their own territory, trailing in the football game 17-0 here in the Orange Bowl on Prime Sports. Baltimore CFLers leading by a score of 17-0. Jeff Rimmer rejoining you here along with Tom Maddy, and we are joined by gentlemen formerly associated with the Dolphins and attempting to bring the CFL to South Florida. Jim Robbie, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your efforts here and just how you feel about tonight's crowd.
Well, I think the crowd is respectable enough. And we didn't have the greatest week weather-wise, and fortunately it's been nice today, and I think what the fans are seeing is impressive. It's an offensive game, and it's the kind of football that I think will sell here in Miami.
Tim, what's it going to take to bring the CFL to South Florida?
Well, I think the CFL people are going to be impressed with the efforts down here, not only with tonight's game, but Bruce Fry and the City of Miami and the Sports and Exhibition Authority have worked very hard to do everything possible to impress the CFL league office, the commissioner, and the owners. I think those efforts need to continue over the next several months so that a CFL franchise in Miami will become a reality. Bruce is heading the investment group, and it's really been his baby, and I've just been doing everything I can to help him out.
Pingler with the intended pass for Willie McClendon goes incomplete.
Tim, this is a little bit more exciting ball as far as getting seeing the players move in motion, the wider field, the longer field. It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it really is, and it's an exciting brand of football. I think the possibility for a CFL team here to have a lot of former University of Miami Hurricanes and Florida Gators and Florida State Seminoles to spice up the roster would really help put fans in the seats in this area.
Tim, how about for you coming back and seeing a football game professionally played in the Orange Bowl?
It's been a while. It's been a while. The Dolphins played their last game here in 1986, and this stadium has a lot of memories for the Dolphins and for me personally, and it's always nice to see a football game here.
For the record, 1986, the last game played here in the Orange Bowl before moving over to Joe Robbie Stadium. Of course, that was the Dolphins and the New England Patriots.
That's correct.
Scott Player, the punter for Birmingham. Let this one go from about the 12-yard line. Wright and Lester Smith back to receive the punt. 5 minutes left to go. In this first half, 17-0 Baltimore. Player some decent hang time, angling it out of bounds at the 50-yard line, where Baltimore will scrimmage with 4:52 remaining.
I had a chance and the opportunity to talk to Bruce today over at the hotel, and he seems to be very optimistic about the possibilities of putting this thing together down here. I just think that this town here, and especially the Orange Bowl, and the condition this field is in and the stadium is magnificent.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, South Florida is a football area first and foremost. And I think there would be an opportunity with a CFL franchise here to appeal to, you know, a different demographic audience than the NFL franchise does. And I think there's a real opportunity for success given time.
Pringle, the ball carrier.
The 20-second clock is something that you really have to get used to because, boy, on the instant replays with Jeff and I coming back here, it's really tough to get those replays in that 20-second clock.
I think it's great for the game, though. It keeps the game
keeps
moving.
It moving.
It adds more plays to the game, and more plays is, you know, is what the fans want to see.
That's exactly right. And go ahead.
Gentlemen, let's talk about the rule changes, or the differences in the rules between this and the NFL. 20 seconds to put that ball in play. And here, long pass intended and caught by Shannon Culver. Great toss from the quarterback Jones to Culver. A first down at the 28-yard line.
Skinny Culver is really going after position. They have a real battle in Baltimore for this wide out right here between Shannon Culver and Walter Wilson. Both guys have made great catches today. The one catch by Walter Wilson with the post pattern over the middle, diving out and catching a ball. But Shannon Culver's a kid that can go up. He's got great speed. He had a punt return at the beginning of the season last year, a kickoff return or a field goal return, brought it back 90-some yards. Great speed.
Handoff to Pringle. Pringle straight ahead, met by a host of tacklers. On the Barracudas side, led by Will Gilmore.
Field goal return is not a term I'm very familiar with, but I like the sound of it.
Wait till you hear the rouge. You ought to hear the fans up in Baltimore. Rouge! Rouge!
Well, Tim, how about Joe Robbie, the fact that your late father certainly brought the National Football League here to the Orange Bowl.
Actually, it was the American Football League back in the 60s.
Built the stadium, and now what would his impressions be of a CFL team in South Florida?
Well, my father loved challenges, and I think he would look at this the same way I'm looking at it, that it's a tremendous challenge. You know, South Florida not only has the Dolphins, it has an NHL franchise, an NBA franchise, and a Major League Baseball franchise. So you know, there's a lot of competition here. And let's not forget the University of Miami football and basketball program. So there is a lot of competition, but I think as I said before, South Florida is a football community, and I think if you do the right things on the field and marketing-wise, you can be successful here.
And you can also start some pretty good rivalries. One of them would happen to be with the Birmingham team right here, because they're that close of proximity to you. You get down here. Also with Memphis, with Fred Smith in Memphis, up there with that team in Memphis, and now Shreveport, and also San Antonio. So there's going to be a growth in this CFL. There's probably be 3 more teams added. So with the 8 teams in Canada and the 8 teams in the U.S., that's going to make a pretty good league.
I think it's going to make a darn good league, and once the fans here, assuming Miami gets a team, get accustomed to the league and the other teams and identify with the players, I think there'll be a great following here for the CFL.
Yeah.
Jeff Rimmer, Tom Maddie, visiting with Tim Robbie, involved in the effort to bring the CFL to South Florida. And what we have upcoming here in our halftime will be a visit with the commissioner of the CFL, former player of the Montreal Alouettes, Larry Smith, Congressman J.C. Watts, a player for Oklahoma here in the Orange Bowl not too long ago, or at least he'll tell us that, and a preview of the upcoming Olympic soccer event.
Let's go, dude!
And as well, the Pacific Air Florida presentation, all that and more, as we get a look at a gentleman that makes history in the CFL and in football this year. He coached in every league and Division I in college football. Jack Pardee. Pass downfield by Jones goes incomplete. 2:37 remaining. It'll be 3rd down, and that'll bring out a former Miami Hurricane, Carlos Huerta, for a field goal attempt.
Now this guy, Tim, could kick any place, anywhere, anytime. He's got such a strong leg, and what an acquisition Baltimore with the expansion, with the dispersal draft picking up Carlos Huerta. It was just a great deal for Don Matthews. That was the #1 choice for Baltimore, and I think he's probably one of the premier kickers in the league without a question.
Oh, he's one of the best there is, period. And the fans of Miami are certainly familiar with him. He had a great career at the University of Miami.
Well, not only is he good on the field, but he is great off the field. He's got a great personality, just a sharp young man.
31-yard attempt is good. Second field goal for Carlos Huerta, and Baltimore now moves in front 20-0 over Birmingham.
One of the rules that's sort of different than the NFL here, again, Jeff, is this 3-minute rule, where this clock stops all the time. So, you get a lot of plays in the last 3 minutes of the first half and the end of the game. So that's why that clock stopped and had the timeout on the field out there for the 3-minute rule.
Don Matthews enjoying the successes of the CFL. Wonder if this guy will ever be in the National Football League. He's coached in the World League, although seems to enjoy his days as a head coach in the CFL.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Don Matthews, and I think one of the great decisions that Jim Spiros made was to get someone who really knew the game of the Canadian game. And Don Matthews is a guy that I think has the great respect of all the coaches. And last year he proved that he should have been Coach of the Year by leading him right to the Grey Cup.
Jimmy Klinger looks downfield in and out of the arms of the intended receiver, Matt Capote, and he threw a bullet.
And that's what you call a DB, a drop ball. You don't want to go back to the huddle as a player when you have those kind of things happening to you, because I'll tell you, that was a perfect throw right in his arms, no concentration on the receiver, looking into his arms and catching the ball. I think he was looking to see when he was going to get hit.
2nd down, 10 to go, ball on the 35. Klingler expected to play half the football game for head coach Jack Pardee. Of course, Matt Dunnigan will be the starting quarterback, and he is an all-time CFLer. Pass caught inside the 40 to the 35. Marcus Grant with a big 1st down. But hold on here.
There's a holding penalty. No, offside penalty.
A procedure call against the Barracudas will bring the football back.
Again, this is the thing that plagued the Birmingham last week with the penalties. Whenever you have a big play like this.
You can't make these kind of mistakes to keep your ball club in the game. That would have given them a great opportunity to get back in good field position again, to get in, try to get a score before halftime, to give them something to talk about in the locker room anyway.
Fans here in South Florida didn't like that call. I think they're Birmingham fans.
They want offense.
They want offense.
They want points.
Klingler marks out the signals. 2:24 left. Hands off. Far side. Rodney Dickerson with the run. We have made contact downstairs with a special guest on the sidelines, a former NFL type and a good friend of Tom Matty's, Jim Kick. Jim, how are you?
Good, Jeff. How you doing?
What do you think of the game?
It's exciting. You know, it's a lot of things that Tom and I can't relate to. It's speed. But it's been quite exciting. I like the idea that the wide receivers and running backs can get a running start. I'm sure Tom and I both could have used one of those. But I think that the people that have been watching the game are very surprised and enjoy the game.
Well, Jim, it's a pleasure to have you here, and Don Strock's floating around down there someplace also. I know you got your son here. He's having a little bit of excitement with this also, isn't he?
Yeah, this is the first professional football game he's ever seen, so he's sort of enjoying it on the sidelines. I think he appreciates that his father's not getting tackled and beat up there, but he's having a good time, Tom.
Well, the one thing we can do tomorrow morning, we can get up without any hurts and bumps, that's for sure.
Well, I think we get up, you know, we still have some aches and pains, Tom, you know that. It takes a little, you're like an old car. It takes a little while to get going, but fortunately we're not going to wake up a sore some of these guys. There's a lot of hard hitting going on, and I think the weather's got a lot to do with them. These guys are sucking a little bit. You know, it's very humid, and they're not quite used to it, but they're getting in shape, and like I said, they're all playing very well.
Final question, Jim. Does this bring back some memories for you here in the Orange Bowl, seeing professional football?
No, I get, you know, just mention the Orange Bowl, and I get goosebumps. You know, it's been a very fine career here, and certainly the accomplishments that we did with the Miami Dolphins, it brings back great memories. The Orange Bowl, to me, is the place, it's just like home.
All right, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the game.
Jimmy, thank you, baby.
All right, bye-bye.
Shannon Culver making that reception. Fernando Thomas bringing Culver down, and Culver trying to show head coach Don Matthews that he wants to be on this football team this year.
Not only does he want to be on the football team, he wants to be that starting receiver out there. Great battle between Walter Wilson and Shannon Culver. Culver, and as I reiterated earlier, he and Don Matthews had some words last year. He walked out of training camp, came back, called Don Matthews up, apologized, and said, I really would like to have another opportunity. Came back and has really shown that he's the kind of quality player you want to have here in the CFL.
John Moten making the tackle as Mike Pringle continues to chew up that valuable real estate.
You know, you talk about John Moten. He's one of the real premier guys. 5 years in the CFL right now. He went to Akron. 6'3", about 230. Great quickness, great mobility. On the pass rush, he's done it good. He's one of the best linebackers I've seen in the CFL. Great speed, can turn that corner, get to the inside.
Jones in the shotgun formation. Cocks and throws. That one tipped off the arm of the intended receiver, Robert Clark.
Just a little high. Sean Jones stepping up on a drop back pass. Right in there, stepping up into the pocket and drilling it just a little bit high. Sean Jones, you guys can remember way back, Georgia Tech quarterback, All-American there, led them to the national championship. Right there, again, just a little too high. That's the way you get receivers killed.
Jones formerly at Georgia Tech, played for head coach Bobby Ross, who of course is now the head man with San Diego Chargers, the team that went to the Super Bowl. Here's Jones looking far side of the football field, over the intended receiver's head, Reggie Perry. And with a minute 16 remaining, Baltimore will be in a punting situation. Josh Miller steps out onto the field. We're visiting this quarter with Tim Robbie. Soon a visit with the commissioner of the CFL, an old friend, and well, a guy that, rather than talking about being the commissioner, would rather tell you a few tales about his career in the CFL as a player. Larry Smith will be joining us. Tim, thanks for the visit. And why don't you just put that headset on for a final word. Thanks for the visit, and thanks for your efforts here in bringing the CFL tonight with this benefit game to the Orange Bowl.
Well, it's great having Sunshine here with us. We appreciate it.
The punt by Josh Miller. This one is a dandy. in the end zone, retrieved by Derek Crawford, and he gets up to about the 3-yard line before he is pulled out. Thank you again, Tim Robbie.
Thank you, Tim Robbie. It's a pleasure to see you, and boy, I'll tell you, good luck with this. I'd love to see it down here. I think you can have a great success with the CFL here in Miami.
Minute 6 remaining. The hope is that there will be that equal great success in Birmingham in their first year, and they've got themselves an outstanding coach in Jack Pardee. Delightful visit this morning with Pardee, who is, well, quite excited about this first venture into the CFL.
Well, I had the opportunity to play in the Pro Bowl with him a couple of times and played against him for a lot of years. One of the all-time great linebackers in the National Football League. One of the things that we should comment on this punt back here, they have to bring that ball out of the end zone, Jeff. Otherwise, it's a rouge or a one-pointer. So that's why that ball is right down on the 2-yard line.
Toss to the right side, the near side of the football field, caught by Ted Long.
Football, in now.
And that is a gain of 5 yards. Second, about 4.5 to go.
Ted Long had a tryout with the Miami Dolphins here and was on the last cut of it. 5'10", 186 out of Oklahoma.
Clock running as we're going to look once more at that pass reception by Long. He hung on to the football. Klingler looks to the far side of the field. Nice catch there. Good turning inside now. Ted Long again. He's got some running room. 50, 55, crosses into Baltimore territory inside the 50 to the 49-yard line.
Ken Watson brings him down, number 33. Great running on that play after he catches the ball. That's what those short passes can do for you. Picks up good yardage on that.
Great run and a big first down.
First down, Birmingham.
Jeff, that's what they call their receiving back. Instead of having the one man in the backfield, they have a receiving back also, which just is a short pass right underneath the coverage.
Klingler with protection. Now rolls out of the pocket, looks downfield over the middle. And that one caught by Cody inside the 40. Turns around, fumbles the football, but it's quickly recovered by the Barracudas. And they will maintain possession with 9 seconds remaining.
Klingler again on that, throwing against the grain, rolling to his right. The hardest pass a quarterback can throw is when he's running to the left, he's right-handed, and throws it across his body. In fact, he threw it out in front of him. Again, right there, take a look at that throw by Klingler. Great. Now watch the running here. The ball pops out on the fumble right here. Recovered by Birmingham. Roosevelt Patterson recovers it. Again here, watch Klingler. After he lets the ball go, watch him get nailed. Ouch. Oof. Those kind hurt. Alfred Payton in on the tackle, and that's why those quarterbacks wear those rib pads, because it hurts.
He kind of got up and wanted to get that number. Notice that?
That truck that hit him.
That's why they call Payton an impact player. And what a great addition he was to Baltimore, arriving after Game 6.
What Payton did to the team is he put a little bit of fire into the defense and really brought them to another level. Payton's the kind of guy that can make the plays happen, and they're putting a lot more defense on him. That's what could happen to you if you really get hit hard. That's what happened to Larry Smith. Wait a second.
Hey, no, Larry played some football. We had a chance to see Larry enjoy some fine years with the Montreal Alouettes. You know, as much as there's talk of expansion here in the U.S., I think Larry's dream is still to put a CFL team back
in Montreal. Yes. Well, they'll call me Matt up there, too, won't they?
9 seconds remaining. And look at this.
They're going for it.
Slack is back in. Slack at the 40-yard line. Shotgun formation, looks to the far side of the field. Over the outstretched arms of Jason Phillips. Now, I would think that Pardee's thinking there was to go with the guy with the long arm and maybe feeling that Slack could get that ball into the end zone for a quick 7.
It was a good pattern. He was just overthrown a little bit. And what they want to do now is go in at halftime. Birmingham would like to get on the scoreboard. It'll be about a 40-yard field goal, 42-yard field goal.
Franco Grilla let this one go.
right out of Central Florida here, 6'1", 190. Played a little bit of arena football. This attempt from the 41-yard line. Slack will hold. Ball snap. Down. Kick is up. And good. So the Barracudas are on the field. But hang on, folks. There is a penalty marker on the field. A procedure call, and again, Birmingham with the first year interpretations of the CFL rules. Klingler on the bench talking to the training staff, and he's seen double. You can just see him showing there after that hit by Peyton.
That's right.
The one where he turned around and checked the number. Well, he's shaking up.
These are the kind of times you have to be very, very careful, especially with where you got a little vision problem like that. This is the time to put him on the bench and rest him and make sure that there's no concussion.
Another attempt after that procedural call against Donovan Gans. Moving it back, and Grilla's attempt now will come from the 47-yard line. The right hash mark. Grilla gets the foot into it. It's up, and this time wide. Wide to the right. The return for Baltimore. And this will run out the clock and end the first half. All Baltimore in the first half of the football game. The Chris Wright attempt runs out the clock, and at halftime in this Pacific Care benefit game from the Orange Bowl in Miami, Baltimore over the Birmingham Barracudas, 20-0. Our halftime show ahead. Stay with us on Prime Sports.
We hope you're enjoying the return of professional football to Miami's Orange Bowl Stadium for the Pacific Care of Florida CFL benefit game. 2.5 years ago, South Florida was devastated by Hurricane Andrew. Thousands of Americans throughout the country came to lend us a hand. Recently, in the aftermath of the Oklahoma City bombing, we were reminded of the pain which a community can suffer. But this terrible incident has given South Florida the opportunity to give back to those who helped us. Proceeds from today's game will be donated to Oklahoma City Mayor's Disaster Relief Fund. But we didn't stop with financial relief because more than money is needed to ease suffering. Children lost mothers and fathers in that bombing, and there is no dollar sign that will ever bring those parents back. That is why Pacific Care created the Get Well greeting card contest in which so many kids participated. For those who aren't aware of the contest, South Florida children aged 13 and under were asked to create Get Well greeting cards for school children in Oklahoma City. In the fall, when kids in Oklahoma City return to classes, there will be greeting cards waiting for them on their desks wishing them well. Every child who created the greeting card received free admission to today's game, courtesy of Pacific Care. The child who created the most original card, who we will now announce, will win a $1,000 shopping spree at a Dade County Toys R Us store. The winning child's parents will win 2 round-trip tickets to London, courtesy of British Airways. Let's now introduce the winner of the Pacific Care of Florida greeting card contest. She is Megan Nicole Stark. She's a 7-year-old who just finished the 1st grade. Her parents are Scott and Brenda Stark of Miami. Megan's card was selected from hundreds of created and original cards drawn by local children. Our hearts go out to all the victims of the Oklahoma City bombing. We thank all those who participated in the contest and attended the Pacific Care of Florida CFL benefit game. We are also joined here by CFL Commissioner Larry Smith, U.S. Congressman from Oklahoma, J.C. Watts, Chris Wagner of British Airways, and Miami Commissioner Victor De Jure. We would like to thank them for their participation in this special effort. Once again, congratulations to Megan. Thank you.
Well, Pacific Care of Florida certainly lending their helpful hand to the relief effort in Oklahoma City. The second half ahead, Baltimore and Birmingham from the Orange Bowl in Miami. Stay with us.
We treat our customers like visiting royalty.
Why settle for a shell?
Boy,
yet, we couldn't get them out. Had a chance for a couple big plays or scores, and penalties stopped ourselves. So we just haven't played any yet. We've got to do it this half.
Hey, Jack, Tom, Matty, good to see you again.
Good
I haven't
seeing
had
you,
a
Tom.
chance. I'll stop down after the game. But, again, last week the penalties, the little mistakes are killing you. Again, tonight, those penalties are sort of putting a stammer to your whole offense, isn't it?
Well, they are. We had the one long pass completion.
Yeah.
James Pruitt just got in camp 2 days ago, and, he didn't live from last week's experiences, so we've got to get a lot of those corrected, Tom.
Thanks for the visit, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Jack Pardee getting his first taste of the CFL.
Well, one of the questions that we really have, Jeff, is the condition of Klingler. I think he is a little bit funny. Here's the rushing stats and passing stats, the whole first half possession time. Take a look at that. The Baltimore team, 18 minutes and 48 seconds. Birmingham, only 11 minutes. Just dominated the game. Turnovers, 2 apiece, but one of the turnovers really turned into a touchdown to Shannon Culver. The 2 turnovers that Baltimore had didn't result in anything. But you take a look at the total yards, 290 to 135. Just the mistakes killed them in the penalties.
Fake handoff there by Chris Wright after fielding the second half kickoff. Now with a good second effort, gets to the 30-yard line on the far side, and that's where Baltimore will scrimmage from to start this second half. They lead 20-0. Coach Pardee still trying to get familiar with this football.
There's no question. I think that that's one of the key things that Baltimore did initially was getting a coach to really have it. He has some of the assistant coaches that he has brought down from Canada to help him understand this game a little bit better. But let me say one thing about Jack Pardee. He's a great coach. He's been successful in every place that he's been, and Birmingham is very fortunate to have a quality guy like this.
Well, one thing that Coach Pardee told us this morning is that he has 2 coordinators offensively and defensively that are familiar with this game, and they're teaching him every step of the way. Ham to Pringle, and boy, that CFL all-star performer from last year, the outstanding performer in the CFL, Mike Pringle, getting all kinds of work here today. He'll be ready for the opener.
The opener is coming up very quickly. Just 6 days before the next game, and boy, I'll tell you, Don Matthews wants to come out of this game with no injuries.
And back in shotgun formation. Second down, 8 to go. Great protection. Looks downfield. Far side. Armstrong making the reception, but out of bounds. The official right there and ruled it incomplete.
Great throw by Tracy again, and Chris Armstrong just couldn't get his feet underneath him. Ham led him a little bit too far on the outside again. Good throw by Tracy. Let's watch where he catches it. Boom, out of bounds. Good call by the official, right on top of it. Birmingham, good defense, but a good throw. Should have been there about a half second earlier.
So Josh Miller, outstanding punter of Baltimore, will now field the snap. And will let it go from roughly the 22-yard line. Great high kick. And Cody at the 32, steps inside, looks for some running room here to the near side of the field. He is tackled at the 35-yard line by Mike Alexander. Little or no gain, and Cody is down on the field. Looks like there's an injury. Could be a knee or a hamstring.
Hamstring, looks like a hamstring. Could have cramped on him.
We'll get a chance in the next few minutes to visit this third quarter with the owner and president of the Baltimore CFL Football Club, Jim Spiros, who certainly enjoyed tremendous success in his first year at the helm of Baltimore. A big success story, and one that Birmingham has told us they would like to duplicate this year. Prime Sports coverage of the CFL continues after this short break. Baltimore leads 20-0. 38-yard line. And Jim, welcome back. Who would have ever thought, second year and here playing in the Orange Bowl?
Well, Jeff, it's a great privilege for us to be here tonight playing in this game, and our football team seems to be playing well tonight, so we're happy to be here and as we kick off our second year in Baltimore.
Now, the situation here in South Florida, I know that you, as the owner of the Baltimore franchise, has encouraged more U.S. ownership, more teams in the States. I'd be interested in your thoughts on a team being based here in South Florida.
As owners in this league, we set up our criteria, and one of the things they have met here in Miami is the Stadium Authority and the City of Miami are very much involved and want a team here. So that's the first thing that has to happen. They've got a great venue. Now we got to find out whether the market and the ownership groups can come together strongly for us to be successful here in this marketplace.
Now, the folks are tuning in tonight in Birmingham. What words of encouragement would you have for those people getting a CFL franchise and starting out this year?
Well, first thing, whoa.
Wow. Slack is pulled down, and that will be a sack by Matt Goodwin.
Jeff, on that one, there was a safety blitz all the way from the backside, and this is a dangerous situation. Klingler is out, I believe, for the game. I think he might have a slight concussion, so they only have one quarterback left, which is Reggie Slack. So this is this dangerous situation when you have those kind of blitzes coming on in and really getting a clean shot at him. That offensive line has got to step up and slow those guys down.
They do have a third quarterback, Kelvin Simmons. He may play. Coach Pardee telling me this morning that he got nicked up last weekend and lost to Shreveport, so he is available, but maybe not at 100%. Ball angled out of bounds at the 55-yard line. To continue our thought here with Jim Spiros, owner of the Baltimore franchise. Jim, what would you tell the folks in Birmingham about your first-year experiences and what to expect and maybe how to support this franchise?
Well, give this team a chance. You know, they've had a very short period of time to put this program together. And Art Williams and Roy Shivers and Jack Pardee, these guys are all winners. And if you give this team a chance, I'm positively sure that they're going to be very competitive. And it takes time. So this is a good measuring stick for them tonight. I mean, you're playing against the Eastern Division champs tonight. So these guys are getting a good look at Baltimore, and we're playing pretty well tonight, Jeff.
Now, Baltimore last year went to the Grey Cup, lost on a last-second field goal. Jim, the name's still the Baltimore Football Club. Everyone knowing about your celebrated battle to return the Colts name to Baltimore. I understand now you're going to step up and name the football team here in July.
Well, Jeff, you always seem to get out a first out of me, so we'll let everybody know tonight that I have got approval for a new name for our football team, and we will be announcing it before our opener, which is July 8th in Baltimore. I'm going to pick a day, probably July 7th. We're going to name the team, but we have approval. We do have a name, and I'm going to let the fans know that by July 8th, our football club will have a name.
All right, and the upcoming home games at Memorial Stadium, the refurbished Memorial Stadium, July 8th against San Antonio, Winnipeg and Memphis to start off the season. Tracy Ham sacked at the 50-yard line. Ledbetter and Anderson double teaming Tracy Ham. A 14-yard loss.
And a great pass rush by Birmingham that time, just getting back there, continuing, try to collapse that pocket, and then fell right on top of Tracy. Here he is. Pressure's coming from within the inside. Can't avoid this one.
So Miller back on the field. And the punter will let this one go from the 41, possibly the 42-yard line. Josh Miller, 2 punts with a 51-yard average tonight. Clock running, 11:02 remaining. And he angles it to the near side. Eric Crawford catching it out of bounds. The ball marked at the 10-yard line, and that's where the Barracudas will scrimmage from. 42-yard punt. There's a flag on the field.
There is a flag on the field, and it's a holding penalty.
Holding the call. It's against Birmingham.
Holding. Birmingham, number 97. Half the distance. First down.
So they'll move it to the 5-yard line. Duckworth, the player that was doing the holding. So from the 5-yard line, Birmingham will scrimmage. And it is Reggie Slack, Jim calling the signal.
And Jim, one of the things that Birmingham has got to do, and I think that the success of Baltimore is the fact that the city government got behind the team, the state government got behind the team, the corporations stepped up and helped these sponsorships, and then the people have really got to get that interest in it. It's a wide open, fast-moving football game that really holds the excitement of the fans, don't you think?
You're exactly right, Tom. And you know, every day for these people are monumental days there in Birmingham right now.
Got a quick question for you here on the Birmingham effort and the CFL versus some of the other USFL and World Football League efforts in Birmingham. 29-yard line where Willie McClendon steps out. Jim, talking to some folks from Birmingham this week, they say, hey, we had the USFL, we had the World League, and we should throw our support behind them, and yet the league's disbanded. didn't play anymore. What can you tell those folks about the CFL, the long history and tradition that will ensure this league stays in operation and Birmingham keeps the franchise to encourage folks to step into it?
Well, Jeff, you know, the CFL has been around for 105 years, and it's been around not because you've had great owners or great management or great venues to play in. It's been around because you've got great athletes playing a great, exciting game.
Slack, the quick toss to the 40-yard line, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Manny Hazard.
You know, so, Jeff, it's past the test of time. This is a great product, and this is why the CFL has been around for over 100 years. So I think the people in Birmingham have got to say to themselves, listen, come out and see this product. Don't get out of your seat because, you know, as Tom and I saw a lot last year, I mean, you're saying right now they're down by 20 points, but you know something? You can come back in the CFL very, very quickly.
That's exactly right. I always tell everybody, don't leave your seat to go to the bathroom or get a drink or anything because the score can change twice.
Slack, quarterback last year, both Toronto and Hamilton had some success against Baltimore. Looks for some success here. And the intended receiver jumping up and trying to pull that ball down, but Slack is going a little high. And the pass goes incomplete.
You know, Jeff, you know the CFL, and somebody asked me last year, what's a comfort level in this league? When you get up by 20 points, is that a comfort level? I still don't know what the comfort level is in this league because in the last 3 minutes of a game, you can handle the football as many as 6 times, which is very, very unique, and that's why this game is so exciting.
Well, last year you took your first-year club to the Grey Cup game and lost in the last second. What do you do for an encore? What do you do to ensure a victory this time?
Well, it's a new year. We got a long season ahead of us.
And we have roughing the kicker. They came after it on an all-out blitz, and
Chris Wright receiving that punt tries to find some yardage to the 35. Great 53-yard punt here. And it looks like Gravely or Natalie will be the player penalized for roughing the kicker.
Again, watch him coming in from the backside on your left up in the screen, coming across. It goes right into him. Gravely comes into him. Just nicks him, but I'll tell you one thing, the thing that happens with those punters, they're the greatest actors in the whole wide world.
Can't make contact.
Well, Tracy Gravely's a veteran, too, and, you know, that's why you have these preseason games. You want to get that out of your system early.
Automatic first down.
This gives the Birmingham offense another time to come on the field, and these are the kind of breaks that you have to have when you're a startup team. And they're going to be making mistakes like they have, and the penalties, I think, have hurt them tonight, Jim. And but I know what kind of a coach Jack Pardee is, and he'll mold this into a great team before the season's out.
Slack. Short shovel pass out of the backfield. A first down inside Baltimore territory to the 50-yard line. Willie McClendon, the superback on his Barracuda football club with a big first down, a 13-yard gain, and they'll move the yardsticks.
Just a little trickery play on this one. Quarterback just jumps, sort of does a semi-roll out. The halfback sort of sets up. You watch the fullback there setting up to the inside. Watch him slide across now. Boom. Ball's right over top. The rush is in. And good running after he catches it.
Jamie Mendez will bring him down, but not until the first down was recorded. 8:15 left to go. Third quarter, 20-0 Baltimore. Ball marked at the 50-yard line. Slack looks right, now left. Good protection over the middle and caught at the 35-yard line.
And another penalty flag down on the far side of the field.
Phillips pulling down the ball. What have we got here? Another penalty against Baltimore. Offside,
which will be declined. Again, watch here again.
Offside. Number 56, Baltimore. Penalty is declined.
Penalty declined.
First down.
And it's a first down. The ball now spotted at the 35.5-yard line. 7:45 left to go. Third quarter, and another injured Barracuda on the field at the 50.
Jason Phillips making the catch on that one, coming across.
Sorry, you want to take it now?
He's a rookie in this league, but again, you take a look at the receivers that they have on here, Jeff, and it's really interesting. Houston has 5 different receivers on this team, and it's really interesting is, as far as the NCAA goes, you had 2 of them. Jason Phillips in 1987,
and 88 led the league, or 86 and 87 led the NCAA in catches. And then in NCAA in 88 and 89, Manny Hazard led the league in the NCAA.
That's Roosevelt Peterson, who we saw injured on the field, cramping up here in this humidity of South Florida. 20-0 the score. Jim Sparrows, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jim.
Good luck in your second year.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back on Prime Sports.
Don't miss the Baltimore Football Club's season home opener, Saturday, July 8th, as the Big Bad and Blue Crew brand the San Antonio Texans. We'll get the party started while the division championship flag soars high above Memorial Stadium. Then join in the celebration as the Baltimore Football Club honors Grey Cup finalist and MVP Carl Anthony. So come on, y'all. Don't miss the excitement as the BFC gets ready to grill the competition. Saturday, July 8th at 7:30. Call 554-1040 for your tickets today.
Jeff Emmert, Tom Addy rejoining you here on Prime Sports from the Orange Bowl in Miami as Roosevelt Patterson gets some help off the field. Opening week of the CFL. Winnipeg and Ottawa, Memphis, and another new franchise against Calgary as we're back to the live action. And the intended pass by Slack to the receiver, Jason Phillips, out of bounds and incomplete. Back to the schedule of the first week. Hamilton, the Saskatchewan Roughriders on June the 30th. Baltimore at BC, followed by the July 1st starts. Toronto at Edmonton and San Antonio at Shreveport. An opening week look at the CFL. Now the 4th of July, Birmingham will start their season at Winnipeg. Matt Dunnigan returns to lead Birmingham against his former team, the Blue Bombers.
That's if his hand is all right and he can play, because that's still a question mark.
Well, talking to Pardee this morning, he felt that Dunnigan, Tom, should be healthy enough to go. He was taking a number of reps this week in practice, and Pardee says that there should be no problem having Dunnigan start against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers of Cal Murphy.
Well, that's great, because that's going to be a homecoming back for Dunnigan going back there, and you know.
Offside, Baltimore, number 58. Repeat, second down.
Again, on the offensive side, on the defensive side right now, Baltimore's just jumping on the count. There was a blitz coming up in the inside, the defensive end, rush end on the outside, came across just a little too quick. Got caught in that back view. You still have to give him that 1 yard off the line of scrimmage to get the play off.
Doc Jones, player offside. 6:57 left. Another shovel pass attempt right back into the arms of Slack. He steps inside the 30, falls to the 25-yard line, and the alert play there by the quarterback Slack to get that football off the Baltimore defender.
Unbelievable.
Gerald Bayless actually tips the football. Watch this now.
Again, there it goes, comes right back into his hands, and the quarterback is adjusting again. Good reception. I wonder if that counts as a reception. It must.
Well, we'll give him one.
They'll give him one.
A Prime Sports reception tonight for Reggie Slack, looking into the eyes of the starting quarterback. He'll likely go the rest of the way with Klingler. Kind of shook up after a hit by Peyton. And from what we saw on the sidelines, looked like he was seeing double. No official word, but likely a slight concussion. Dickerson, the ball carrier, possibly just inside.
A good defensive charge by Baltimore in that time prevents Birmingham from getting that first down. It was a third and short situation there. They went for it because they're 20-0 behind in there.
Well, another one of Tom Addy's good friends, former Miami Dolphin, Don Strock, attending tonight's game here at the Orange Bowl. How are you, Don?
I'm doing great.
Now, we know that you're good friends with Tom Addy because he's told us that 6 times here before the game started today, but give us your impressions first of the CFL.
Well, the quarterbacks are much better athletes than I ever was, I guarantee you that, because they can run a lot better. But I'm impressed with the game. There's a lot of action, it's fast-paced, and it's exciting to the fans. And I see a pretty good crowd here for the first time the CFL's been in the city of Miami, so there's a lot of hope for it.
How about pro football being back in the Orange Bowl?
Well, there's some great games here played in the Orange Bowl, obviously, and I was involved with a lot of them, and there's a lot of memories here, and hopefully this will take off, and they'll have a great team here in Miami, and they'll fill up, and you'll hear that foot-stomping music you hear with the University of Miami games when they're here.
Now, you're a successful coach in arena football. Would you like to coach in this league?
Well, I'd love to, and I also coached this past year in the World League over in Germany with Galen Hall. with Orion Fire. I was the offensive coordinator over there, and I've coached 2 years also as head coach in arena football, obviously, and I enjoy the game of football, and this is something I'd love to do.
Well, Don, one of the things that I know is I coached you actually in that strike game where we had up in Washington, and I know what kind of a coach you are. You picked up if I could coach you, you got to be good to understand me. So I'll tell you one thing: it would be great to have someone of your stature to come into the CFL and be one of the coaches.
Well, I would certainly be interested in talking with anyone who'd be interested in talking with me. And I had a lot of knowledge, as far as football is concerned. Obviously there's some changes as far as the rules are concerned, but there were changes also in arena, and there's been changes throughout the NFL too throughout the years. So it would be a little bit of a change, but football's football, and it's still tackling and catching the ball, throwing and running.
Right. Hey, Don, thanks for joining us. Grab a clipboard, make some notes, because as Jack Pardee told me this morning, it's going to take some time to learn this game, so maybe by the time you get a chance to coach, you'll have this game down pat.
So I appreciate it.
Hey, Don, thanks for coming on board, baby.
Okay, thank you.
Don Strock, the former Dolphin, enjoying this football game here in the Orange Bowl tonight.
Jeff had a couple great runs by Pringle on him again. He's there. Don Matthews is really getting the offense, the first-string offense, a work tonight, because he's getting keyed up because the season starts next week for both teams, and he wants these guys at full go, full-blown, to be able to be ready. Tracy Ham still in at quarterback. We'll probably see Sean Jones possibly the fourth quarter.
17 carries, 79 yards tonight for Mike Pringle. And workman-like performance by his outstanding CFL star. Armstrong turns away after making the reception, crosses the 55 to the 54-yard line.
Armstrong picks up a first down again, diving, knowing where those markers are. That's what a receiver and a back has got to know. How far does he have to reach out to be able to get that first down? And Chris Armstrong right on top of it again. Good throw by Tracy Ham. Set up about 4 steps, a quick out to him. Chris, here again, right here, you'll see Tracy. Good, strong throw. Looks it in. Cuts back to the inside. Sees where that hole is. Gets the first down.
Gilmore defending on that play. Armstrong, 3 receptions, 34 yards, and of course that great touchdown reception. Ham back in the shotgun. Hands off to Pringle. Pringle looking outside. Now steps inside. Crosses the 55 to the 53-yard line before he is pulled out by Gilmore once more. A little high-fiving going on.
Defense should be happy with that one. They strung it out and was able for the halfback to come up and make the tackle. Gilmore, good tackle on Pringle. Pringle's a hard guy to get a shot on. Again, you'll see him breaking back to the outside. Big Neil Fort, 66, out in front. Pringle cutting back to the inside, and a good tackle by Gilmore. Number 21 coming up and really sticking Pringle.
2nd and 7. The ball marked on the 51. 3 receivers wide left. Ham, good protection, fakes. Steps out of the pocket now from the oncoming rush. Rolls left, looks downfield, wide open Armstrong. 35-30. Tries to stay in bounds at the 32, and he will score. Chris Armstrong with some razzle-dazzle in the defensive secondary with a second touchdown reception. 51 yards. Tracy Ham and Armstrong hooking up to put Baltimore up 26-0.
Again, here's the scrambling capabilities that Tracy Ham has. The pocket, the pressure is coming from the inside for Birmingham. Good pressure from the defense on Birmingham. But again, with the athletic ability that Tracy Ham has, he just breaks back to the outside and just does a great job. And Chris Armstrong on the receiving end, Shannon Culver right there. Number 1, skinny they call him.
Extra point by the former Hurricane, Carlos Huerta. Drafted in the NFL by the San Diego Chargers. Had another effort denied in the NFL before last year, kicking for Las Vegas, and now a Baltimore CFLer. Extra point is good, and it's 27-0. We'll step aside on Prime Sports from the Orange Bowl. Baltimore with a commanding lead over Birmingham. Back to receive. Miller handling the kickoff duties rather than Carlos Huerta tonight. Crawford on the return. They pull down at the 32-yard line. 9-yard return on the Josh Miller kickoff.
Give us an opportunity here, Tom, to get one more look here at the scrambling abilities of this man out of Georgia Southern, Tracy Ham.
Tracy Ham breaking back out to the outside. Does the pump see it? And again, this is a real tough throw, but Chris Armstrong has that innate ability to be able to find that open spot. But watch how he runs after he catches the ball. Goes in for the touchdown. This is great running. Probably one of the premier receivers in the CFL. Last year had a great year. Made the All-CFL East team.
Reggie Slack steps behind the center, 2 for 4 for 27 yards in the second half. There's a quick toss. And the intended receiver speeding down the sidelines was Delius Morris. Slack not able to get that football to Morris.
Didn't look like Morris was quite cued in on that quick pass. He was going to drop over the middle.
Scoring drive, 7 plays, 81 yards. Took a little more than 3 minutes. Chris Armstrong has his second touchdown reception of the evening. Armstrong last season leading Baltimore in big plays, all 3 receiving categories, including touchdowns. Looks like he's not going to slack off.
Ken Watson a little bit upset on that over there, but a great throw and a great reception. Donald Moffitt right here on this one. Again, let's see if the official makes this right call. I wish I could have used to throw a spiral like that. Again, the ball comes right in.
I wish I was old enough to remember those great passes you threw.
Oh, did I hurt you, baby? I love it. I think Muffet did a pretty good job acting. That was a questionable caller. I don't know. That one arm seemed like it was underneath him.
The folks tuning in here on Prime Sports, Tom and I are pretty good friends, or should I say we're pretty good friends before that one.
Now, you're an old Canadian. I got to like you. I mean, I'm an old Canuck myself, and I'll tell you one thing. We've had some fun broadcasting together, Jeff Rimmer, and I'll tell you, we appreciate you helping out here and doing this with us and explaining this game of football to the fans and Sunshine Network, because it's a great, exciting football game, and the fans of Birmingham are just going to enjoy this game because there's action happening all the time.
Well, not only are we on Sunshine Network tonight, but we are actually right across the board here tonight on WNUV TV in Baltimore, on WABN television in Birmingham. Folks, you're in for some exciting football this summer, fall, and well, hopefully Birmingham goes a long way. In addition to Sunshine Network here in Florida, on Sports Channel Pacific, and as well, Home Team Sports in the Washington-Baltimore area. A warm hello. Sports South and the Prime Sports Southwest Network. All tuning in to this CFL effort tonight. The Pacific Care benefit game from the Orange Bowl in Miami with an injured Baltimore player, Urban Smith.
Again, the long pass again going down the sideline right here. Urban Smith's right in front. Good pass defense by Smith, and again, almost a perfect throw.
James Pruitt actually poked him in the eye.
Pruitt, that was almost like Pruitt being the defensive back on that, because Smith had an opportunity to pick it off and get the interception. And sometimes the receivers turn into defensive backs, Jeff, when they're going up for the ball like that, when it's a little bit underthrown. But Irv Smith seems to be all right.
The punter player coming on for Birmingham. 16 seconds now remain here in this third quarter. 27-0 Baltimore. 20-0 at the half. Scott Player will punt the football.
Irv's taking his time walking off the field. This is the kind of night that really drains the athlete, because the humidity is so high here. I think it's like 80% right now. Temperature is starting to cool down a little bit down here in Miami, and with the rain that they've had, the conditions of this ballpark are absolutely unbelievable. The PAT system that they have here to suck that water out, they've had 17 inches over the last, well, you know, you live down here. In the last week, they've had almost 17 inches of rain in this area.
Streets have been flooded for days. But a great effort here by the groundskeeping crew at the Orange Bowl has this football field in immaculate shape for this benefit game. The Oklahoma City Relief Fund. It is Chris Wright on the return. And he is pulled down after crossing midfield at the 55. We'll step aside. The third quarter has come to an end. Baltimore leading Birmingham 27-0. You're watching the CFL on Prime Sports.
Don't miss the Baltimore Football Club's season home opener.
27-0 here at the Orange Bowl. We have completed 3 quarters of football. And there's some exciting moments in the CFL. Witness this.
He said number 4 was the guy who concerned him coming into the ball game. He took it this time. The Gizz. Henry Williams with a touchdown. Will he flip? Yeah.
Affectionately called the Gizmo.
I wish I could do that.
Wish I could have ever done that.
Me too.
Not now, before.
The one thing that Birmingham has to take into consideration tonight.
We want to tell folks that the Miami Manatees could be a CFL team playing here in the Orange Bowl in 1996. Bruce Fry has the proposed start for next year, 1996, looking to pick up the defunct Las Vegas Posse franchise and play all their games here. And the expected ticket prices between $15 and $20. If you'd like more information on the Miami Manatees, call 305-570-5310. $27-0. We are set as Tracy Ham is up behind Matsuda. Now hands on, straight ahead. And to pick up 4 yards as Chris Wright.
Chris Wright comes in the fourth quarter to give Pringle a break. Chris Wright noted for his great quickness in the backfield. The one thing that Birmingham has to understand here is that Baltimore is probably one of the premier teams in the CFL. So for a franchise team to come up against a team like Baltimore, they're doing a pretty good job defensively containing what's happening out there today.
100 to 38. Yards rushing for Baltimore over Birmingham. Nice catch here by the Baltimore receiver, Shannon Culver. And that will not necessarily move the yardstick. Short of the first down, it looks like.
Third down at about, looks like it's about 1.5. Let's see what Don Matthews does. I believe he'll go for it.
Andre Skrill bringing Culver down behind the first down marker. And you're right. Again.
Come back.
Tracy Ham lines up behind the center. Backs in motion straight ahead, and the first down. That's right to the 42-yard line of Birmingham.
Good hard running by Chris Wright again. The quickness that Chris Wright has is the thing that gets him through that hole so quickly. Again, watch him cut back to the inside, covers up that ball, reaches out, gets the first down. Good tackling, but again, a good fire off by the offensive line of Baltimore, getting the first down for them.
Strode and Gilmore teaming up for that tackle on Wright. It is 1st and 10, the ball at the 42. Free receiver. Wide right. Handoff once more to Wright. He's got some running room and is awfully close to another first down. Strode makes the tackle in the defensive backfield, but it looks like they will be close. 9 yards. The apparent gain on that play. So it's second. 1.5.
Just that quick trap right up the middle, a little draw action on it, sort of a delay type. With the quickness that he has, he hits that hole so quick and up the middle. Now, Chris Wright's vying for a position here. Drummond's back home. Robert Drummond, right back again. Chris Wright.
He's hit the first down as he broke away from the first set of tacklers, spun off, and picks up some valuable territory, including a first down as they move the markers. Good second effort here, Matty.
Great second effort. Again, Chris Wright coming through, almost loses the ball there. Watch how he spins out, but he keeps his balance, breaks back to the outside, and again, gets the first down for Baltimore.
That away, the first receiver before being pulled down by Will Gilmore. 11:35, clock running. Ball on the 23, 1st and 10 Baltimore. Ham back to pass. Good protection. Looks downfield now, rolls left. Looks downfield again, looks into the end zone. And now will carry the football inside the 20 to the 15, and then is hit out of bounds and he'll take exception to that.
He almost did.
Here for unnecessary roughness. High bounds on number 30. No, sir. Get out of here.
Looks like a penalty here. That hit out of bounds.
Number 38, Birmingham. Half the distance. First down.
They'll move those yardsticks once more. Well, watching the passer go.
I mean, that was a good call. You just got to leave those guys. When they get out of bounds, you just have to. They let up, they relax, and this is where guys really get hurt. Even with those little shots like that, but I don't think that was intentional at all. He grabbed him, held him up, made sure he didn't fall down, and I don't think Tracy was too upset about it.
John Russian committing the infraction after the distance to the goal line. Hand off to right, off tackle, looks to the end zone, to the one, and then is held out with a goal line stand.
Again, if we really take a look at the statistics in this up to the third quarter right here, Birmingham passing 170, rush 37. You take a look at Baltimore, 278 passing, 98 rushing. Time of possession again is about 5-6 minutes, almost difference in time of possession.
Second down and goal to go. The ball on the 1-yard line. Tracy Ham behind Subas, hands off to Wright, who's done all the work in this effort, and he is in the end zone for the touchdown. Chris Wright, and give that offensive line all kinds of credit for moving out those defenders, and a great effort grinding out those yards along the ground here.
One of the things that you always do if you're a running back, Jim Kick will tell you this, you talk to Don Strock, the one thing you go up to after the game is you go up and pat those big linemen on the back and say, nice job, guys, because it wasn't for you, I couldn't have the holes to run through. And this offensive line did a great job for Pringle last year, getting almost 2,000.
Matty, in your quarterback days, you told me you didn't pat him on the back, you used to take him out for a meal.
That's exactly right. I took him out for more than a meal.
We'll be back. Baltimore leading 34-0. Here from the Orange Bowl, and the kickoff with Baltimore leading. Fielded by Derek Crawford inside the 5-yard line. Dances past the 10 to the 12 before he is pulled out. Our pleasure to welcome the owner of this expansion hopeful from Birmingham, Art Williams, to our broadcast booth. Art, stand up there. We have the cameras downstairs. Welcome to the
Thank you,
sports
Jeff.
booth, and welcome to the CFL.
Thank you. A beautiful night. The Orange Bowl is just fantastic, and I wish we had 34 points and nothing for Baltimore, but you know, I don't want our fans to get discouraged. We're going to have a good football team in Birmingham before the year's over, Jeff. And Birmingham and Alabama, best football state in the country. It's going to be a great CFL location.
A lot of support, obviously, for efforts in the past with the World League and, of course, the USFL. But the CFL, 105 years old. The folks there know that, hey, this league's been around for a long time.
Oh, yes.
Birmingham's got a team for good.
No, in the 3 previous pro leagues that came into Birmingham, Birmingham led the league in attendance and outstanding success, and the leagues failed them. Well, this league's here to stay. They proved that over the last 105 years, and Birmingham's going to support this team, and I just couldn't be happy. You know, tonight, offensively, we're going without our quarterback, and that makes a huge difference, and we get Matt Dunnigan back with Reggie Slack. We're going to be okay there, and we just hadn't helped our defense out. You know, Baltimore's got probably the best defense in the league. And, you know, our offense hadn't been on the field. Our defense has been on the field all night.
Well, speaking of your quarterback, I originally from Canada had the opportunity to watch perhaps one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest quarterback ever to play in the league. And now in Birmingham, Matt Dunnigan, who's on the headset, joining us down on the field, injured. But Coach Pardee telling me this morning that he should be ready for the July 4th opener against his former team, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good. Doing real good. Disappointed with our output offensively tonight, but it's a good indicator how far we have to go and what kind of work we have ahead of us.
Tell me, obviously going to Birmingham now and trying to start a fledgling team for you, an opportunity to not only speak the Canadian Football League word, but speak with actions on the football field with a franchise that Mr. Williams tells us is in Birmingham to stay.
That's right. I think the support in Birmingham has been tremendous. Although I know he's touched on the teams in the past, there's a lot of skepticism, but think people are starting to realize now that we're here to stay. We're a viable commodity. We're an exciting game. And it's up to us to put a positive product on the football field. And with the new expansion team, you know, we have a long way to go, and we're working hard. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to get there.
Matt, Art, stay with us. We'll be back as we continue Prime Sports coverage of the CFL. Baltimore leading. You've got a question.
Hey, Matt, one of the things that you know, you're probably the most exciting quarterback, in my opinion, in the CFL right now. But the one question that everybody throws up, everybody says you have the mentality of a linebacker playing quarterback because you really hang in there. And I think that's one of the highest compliments a quarterback can get.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's just being a stubborn Irishman.
I love it.
It comes from my dad, and certainly my mother will argue that it comes from her. But just being stubborn, just wanting to get the job done, doing whatever it takes. I've been fortunate to be involved with a lot of great offensive lines, a lot of great organizations in the past, and we're building one here, and I'm excited about where we're headed.
Are you going to be healthy enough? I know you've got that hairline fracture. Are you going to be healthy enough to go back to Winnipeg and start against your former team?
Well, the way I feel, they can amputate my right hand. That'll be
I love it.
I'm just ready to rock and roll against those guys. We'll do whatever we have to do to get this thing ready for the 4th of July.
All right, with the Birmingham entry, a new realignment in the CFL, and we're going to get a look at what probably will be an interesting rivalry here now with your opponent tonight, Baltimore, but an interesting division. Pass caught out of bounds, incomplete. Chris Armstrong making the reception out of bounds. Here's that Southern Division. Baltimore, Birmingham, Memphis, San Antonio, and Shreveport.
You know, they've got the CFL divided into Northern Division, Southern Division, the 8 Canadian teams. And last year in the Grey Cup, you know, you had a U.S. team and a Canadian team played to the biggest audience of any single TV program in Canada last year. And Canada really takes a lot of pride, you know, in anything Canadian, you know, and anti-U.S. There's really a traditional rivalry there that's going to be exciting, you know, in the years ahead.
John Jones, the quarterback, and the reception by Culver as Tracy Ham has now been relieved. Baltimore moving downfield once more. 7:45 left to go.
Art, it's been really an interesting phenomenon being able to start that team and being able to get the business community behind you and the state behind you, the city behind you. But the thing is, you really have to get the fans out there and really bring the team back. That's the one thing that Baltimore did. There was a core of fans. There's a fumble and a good recovery by Birmingham again, causing the fumble, missed handoff. But the thing that you have to do is get all those things working together to be a success. And Birmingham, being the town that it is, a great town. And we always try to, in Baltimore, try to relate this as sort of a blue-collar team to the fans. And I think that Birmingham, like Baltimore, there's a lot of similarities to the town.
Well, you know, Tom, you're right. And with the tradition of Alabama and Auburn football, the best in college football, you know, they demand a winner, and they demand high-quality football. And you're not going to promote yourself into success in Birmingham. We got to prove on the field that we're a winner, and the CFL has got to prove it's an exciting game. And I truly believe the CFL is a more exciting game than the NFL. And I think our fans are going to like the game, and we're going to be competitive on the field. I promise you that. We're going to do whatever we have to do. We've got a great coaching staff. We got some great players, and we're going to do whatever we have to do to put a team out there that Birmingham's going to be proud of.
And upcoming home games and how you can get tickets to see the Birmingham Barracudas. 15th of July against Hamilton, the 22nd, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and then these same Baltimore CFLers in town on July the 29th. Ticket information 205-323-2832. We talk about great players and the commitment that owner Art Williams is making. The man causing that last fumble, Angelo Snipes, one of the CFL's most dominant pass rushers, coming up with that big play, nullifying a touchdown bid by Baltimore.
You know, Jeff, we've got some real impact players on defense. You know, Snipes is one, a guy that you hadn't seen. He got hurt in the third play of this game. Peoples from Michigan, you know, our other defensive end, is an impact player. We're going to surprise some teams, and we're going to be ready for Baltimore when they come back to Birmingham. I can tell you that. They better bring everything they got.
I got one more question for Matt Dunnigan. We want to thank him for joining us here on Prime Sports. Matt, we talked in terms of the fans becoming familiar with the game.
Coach Pardee telling me this morning he hopes to have a football team almost right down the middle with players with CFL experience. How important is that for you and your teammates that everybody's in sync and knows the game?
I think that's of great importance. We've got to teach those young guys the ins and outs of this game because it is different with the slight rule changes. It becomes an entirely different game, and so it's important to have some veteran ball players there with experience, and I think we got a good mix right now. We'll learn a great deal from this game, I can tell you that.
I bet. Now the fans in Birmingham tuning in here tonight, what would you tell them to encourage them to become fans of the Birmingham Barracuda?
Patience. give us some patience. We're working hard. We've got great people out here. It's just going to take us a little time to get together.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Matt Dunnigan, certainly one of the all-time great quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League, and of course now making his home in Birmingham with the Barracudas. And of course, owner Art Williams telling us the great football tradition of the state of Alabama. Now the long-time CFL tradition of 105 years gets a chance to show its wares in that great state of Alabama.
Yeah, we're happy to be there. I'm the happiest I've been in 5 years since I retired, Jeff, and I love Birmingham. It's the greatest place to live I've ever been, and I'm looking forward to being there for a long time, and we're going to build a franchise that all our fans will be proud of.
Well, Alabama native, now the quarterback here in the absence of Dunnigan and Reggie Slack.
You know, Reggie is a good player, and he's going to win a lot of games for us. And you see with Tracy Ham, who's very mobile, a different kind of quarterback than Reggie is. And Matt gives us a lot of mobility, a lot of different things we can do on offense, and he has a great arm, too. So I just say that, you know, also, Tom, we've been at football camp 2 weeks longer. You know, we had a chance to bring in rookies and spend as an expansion team. You know, we've been in camp now for a month at 2-a-days. Our guys are a little worn out. I'm not trying to make excuses, you know. But we're better than we show tonight, and you know, we're going to be ready for Winnipeg.
Also playing maybe the best team in the CFL.
I think so. Certainly probably the best defensive team in the CFL.
Chris Wright with a return to the 30-yard line. Art Williams, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Tom.
And Art, I want to just say congratulations on welcome to the CFL. And I know with your leadership and that of Jack Pardee coaching, you'll have a great success in Birmingham.
We're going to do whatever it takes to win, Tom. Thank you.
The Birmingham Barracudas trailing Baltimore. We'll be back. Tom Matte rejoining you here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. The Pacific Care Benefit Game. Well into this fourth quarter here, Tom. A great relief effort underway, obviously, in Oklahoma City. And tonight, this game looking to support that effort.
Well, I'll tell you, Bruce Fry, Tim Robbie, a great effort on their part to be able to put this thing down.
Look at the final standings last year. Baltimore finishing second to Winnipeg. It was only I guess it was the last game of the season. Ultimately decided Eastern Conference, or Eastern Division winner.
Again, a good bow out by that pattern. Good defense by Birmingham back there. Sean Jones trying to throw a corner pattern to the outside. But now you take a look at Calgary. Doug Flutie, 15-3. Edmonton, 13-5. And British Columbia was 11-6, and they won it all by the playoff. And they played some great games towards the end of the season.
McManus, the quarterback for BC, and he was the Grey Cup hero out of Florida State. Danny McManus, now the starting quarterback for the BC Lions. So certainly a lot of familiarity with the U.S. players playing in the CFL, either here in the States or up in Canada.
No question about it. If you really take a look at what Birmingham has done also is
Procedure, 63, Baltimore. Repeat second down.
They got the local flavor and two of the big linemen from Alabama, Graham and Patterson, plus they got Reggie Slack from Auburn. So you have that little flavor of right in the neck of the woods of Birmingham, the players that people are familiar with and who they can become. They're heroes.
Young. Back at his 50-yard line. Trying to get away from the oncoming pursuit. Throws it downfield and actually out of bounds.
And Carlos Huerta
come on for his third field goal attempt of the evening. He's 2 for 2.
That one penalty on the 51-yarder was no good, but the penalty of offsides by Birmingham gave him that opportunity to go back and get that 46-yarder. Strong leg. He's had a little problem with one of the muscles, and I think that's probably the reason why Josh Miller's doing the kickoffs.
And Crowley will hold former Towson State quarterback. It is good. 37-0 Baltimore now, and folks wanted to see the attendance here around the 20,000 mark. And that's an effort to show the CFL that there was interest in South Florida to play here in the Orange Bowl next year, 1996. Bruce Fry set the goal at 20,000, while the official attendance just announced 20,250.
That's pretty close, but I'll tell you one thing. I think with the time of the year, not having your own team here, having two different teams come on down here, I think it's a great effort by Bruce Fry and his group and Tim Robbie. I'll tell you, couldn't have better guys involved in the effort of bringing a team here, and he couldn't have a better venue in this field, in this stadium. The thing that's great about Miami is that the town is behind it. The government's behind it. They're supporting it. They've given them a great opportunity to bring this team down here, and I hope that Larry Smith and the rest of the Board of Governors go along with it.
Question is here, Tom, and you're an executive of the Baltimore franchise and have a pretty good eye on what's going on in the league. Does the 20,000 attendance here tonight mean that there's a team here, the Manatees, in 1996?
I think there's a good possibility of it. I think 20,000 is sort of that. You got to remember one thing. This is not the NFL, and the budgets are not as high as in the NFL. I try to put everything in perspective. You know, our budget probably costs us between $7.5 million. So when you take 20,000 people and multiply that out times 10 games, you get it. Plus, then you get your corporate sponsorships and your television revenues and all that. I think it could be a resounding success. And once it catches on here in Miami, I'll tell you, the people will be more than excited about the game and the quality of the football.
Well, we'd mentioned that we could see Kelvin Simmons in this football game, and indeed he is. Simmons injured last week in a loss to Shreveport, a slightly separated shoulder, and you see him there now flexing that left arm. Tackled on the play by Tucker. And as we have now hit and passed the 12-minute mark, 2:48 remaining, there's a timeout on the field. 37-0. This stadium, Ford Building, Joe Robbie Stadium, now home of the Miami Dolphins. His son Tim Robbie involved in the effort to bring the CFL to South Florida. And I was asking Tim Robbie early on in this football game, Tom Addy, what he would think of another professional football team, another league playing in South Florida.
I think he's real excited about the game itself.
Chris Wright fumbles the punt and is able to recover it.
Players,
36-yard line.
And a flag down on the play.
Fumble is the penalty marker down.
42-yard punt.
You know, talking to Tim Robbie, one of the things that back in Baltimore that we have back there is the Ed Block Courage Award Foundation, of which we started a Joe Robbie house down here. Tim came up and accepted it, and it's voiced down here in Miami that the Ed Block Courage Award Foundation supplies a room down here to be able to support it in Joe Robbie's name, Tim's father. It's a great effort.
I'll forget Joe Robbie if we could for a moment. Let's talk about Tom Matte and his memories here of the Orange Bowl.
Had some great wins here. I had some great games here. The number 3 Super Bowl, although we lost the game, probably was one of my best efforts that I ever had as a football player playing for the Baltimore Colts. But we've had some great games in this stadium. It just brings back a lot of great memories and the camaraderie that you have as a player playing in a great stadium like this, Phil.
A nostalgic return for you. Crowley now the Baltimore quarterback, former Towson State star, handing off and into Barracuda territory at the 52-yard line.
Crowley, a player from Towson State University, where the Baltimore team trains. He's done just a great job in college, a 4-year starter there, had almost 9,000 yards in passing, 81 touchdowns. Just set a great record at Towson State, which is a great institution in Baltimore, and we've had such great cooperation from the Towson State University themselves. Hope Smith, president. It's just been a fun time for all of us with him.
Well, a lot of fans tuning in here tonight on Prime Sports will remember the name Dave Meggett. Meggett is star with the Giants out of Towson State, perhaps the most celebrated star off that campus. Mike Alexander with a reception down to the 30-yard line.
Mike Alexander, a Penn State guy, he's battling for a spot this year also. He had 4 years in the National Football League with the Raiders and the Bills, and he's one of my real favorite kind of guys. He's a competitor, he's a team leader, he's got great height, 6'3", 205, good speed, the kind of guy that you like to have for a target when you're playing quarterback.
23-yard reception. CFL, longer, wider, faster. Dan obviously picked up a T-shirt here tonight at the Orange Bowl. Right, the ball carrier, and Rowland pulling him down.
Good defense by Rowland that time. Wright was turning the corner inside, but he strung it out all the way to the sideline and comes up with the big tackle, stop him from getting in there. Running the clock down now, a minute 40-second, 6 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Score 37-0.
The Baltimore prepares for their opener. After this one, Birmingham will. There's wide open. And in and out of the hands of Mike Alexander. Ball behind him. He had it. He could just turn around another half a step.
Just a half a step. Probably sets up in the pocket. Great on this throw. Again, Mike Alexander doing the post pattern that's so familiar with Chris Armstrong coming across the middle. And just drills it right in there, just about an arm length too short.
Angelo Snipes, the former BC Lion and certainly one of the dominant defensive players in the CFL over the last several years, is down. And it might be a little cramping up for him now as well. You know, the situation here with the high humidity and certainly the result of all the rains that we've had here in South Florida over the last several days, the humidity extremely high. Upcoming home games for the Barracudas. Their home opener July the 15th against Hamilton. The Rough Riders a week later. Then these same Baltimore CFLers will be in on the 29th. Ticket information, call 205-323-2832. Speaking of Baltimore, July the 8th, San Antonio.
That is going to be a crab feast they're going to have out there in center field. They're really going to have a great party going out there. All kinds of crabs out there in center field. It's just going to be a wild wingding opening affair for Baltimore back there. It will also, by July 29th, when they come down, Baltimore comes down to Birmingham, Baltimore will have a name.
Yeah, Jim Spiro's telling us, the owner-president of the football team, that on the 8th of July, will officially announce the team's new name. The celebrated battle to return the Colts, named the Baltimore Failed. The new name will be unveiled on the 8th of July.
I don't even know what it is. Should be interesting. Anderson in on the tackle, nose tackle from UNLV. 6'3", 270, 3 years in the league.
Hold on a minute. You know everything about that Baltimore franchise.
Not a lot of tell. I got to deny it, see. That way the press doesn't come after me and ask me.
Well, they're all tuning in tonight back in Baltimore.
Finding out what's happening. And I'll tell you something. It's going to be interesting to see what Jim does.
Minute 26 remaining. Kelvin Simmons, third quarterback employed by head coach Jack Pardee in this football game. Simmons looks to the near side, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Manny Hazard. Had it, but couldn't hold on.
You can see he's having problems with that shoulder, really throwing it over. He can't get all that zip on the ball. Just threw it a little bit behind him. Jack Pardee, one of the all-time great players in the National Football League, linebacker for the Los Angeles Rams when they were a dominant power in the NFL. We used to have some of the greatest battles, the Colts and the Rams, and Maxie Vaughn played with him at that time at linebacker. These guys were, this is a tough football team. This is one tough football player and a great coach for Birmingham.
One of the great stories in professional football this year. Jack Pardee becomes only the first person ever to serve as a head coach of a CFL, NFL, USFL, World Football League, as well as a NCAA Division I football coach. Jack Pardee has done it all, and telling me this morning that he's excited about his first year coaching the CFL. Of course, the last NFL team he coached, the Houston Oilers, former Redskin and Chicago Bears head coach with the USFL with Houston Gamblers, where he employed the same run-and-shoot offense. The interesting thing that Jack said, he says, this is a fun game. And he says, I really like to be able to coach with a fun thing. It's been really tough in the NFL, but now he says, I've got the opportunity to have a little bit of fun out here. It's wide open. I can run, throw the ball, do anything I want to do with it. Again, great move here. Look at
Chris Wright, and he's got some daylight. Chris Wright now, the 40. Sidesteps a hit and gets down to the 35-yard line. There could be a fumble on the play. Scott Player is in there. And let's see if he's able to come up with a football.
Scott Player came up with the football. The punter making the recovery on that. Another great run back by Chris Wright. He's an exciting football player all by himself. I'll tell you, he causes that ball to make things happen. Here again, watch how he jumps up over. The ball comes out. Good call again by the official. Scott Player comes through. Mike Willie McKeldin.
37-yard punt, 36-yard return. Here's Wright on the return, only to fumble the ball as he was hit by the punter Player, who comes up with the big play. Look at that.
Then Willie McKeldin comes in and makes the recovery.
Into the final minute, 46 seconds. The clock now begins. The pass, great catch. And inside Baltimore territory are the Barracudas with an outstanding reception by Marcus Grant. 28-yard pass and catch. The ball now marked.
Marcus Grant right here as a receiver. Jeff, that was a pinpoint pass. Split the zones right down there. It was a great throw. Good timing. I'll tell you, it was unbelievable. Watch him coming right up on top of it. Almost picked it off.
Nice reception there by Marcus Grant. The ball on the 47-yard line. Now behind the line of scrimmage. Getting away is Simmons. Then he's tackled. The ball's fumbled and recovered by Baltimore. Number 92 coming up with a football after Tucker knocks it free. Baltimore coming up with a football.
I believe it was Robert Pressberry, number 72, came up
72,
with the big guy. The big guy got one. 16 seconds remaining. You know, one thing that Don Matthews said last year when we came back from the Grey Cup, Jeff, was something that I thought was, it's going out on a limb. Last year when he first became the coach, he said, we're going to have a winning team here in Baltimore. And exactly what he did. He said, came back and there was a big pep rally down at the stadium welcoming the team back. He said, last year we knocked on the door of the Grey Cup. This year we're going to break it down. This team here at Baltimore has really got a great defense, and the offense under the leadership of Tracy Ham and the coaching staff we have. I think that this is going to be another contender this year, Jeff.
Crowley gets down on one knee. And now, what do we have here?
Well, the clock stops after every play when the last 3 minutes of the game, so he should just, then they start it up once they get down. So this will be the last play of the game, and I'll tell you, Birmingham's nothing to be embarrassed about. They're playing one of the best teams in the CFL,
if not the best.
And I'll tell you something, it's a great tribute to Jack Pardee. They've only been in camp for a month, and to come on out and play a championship caliber ball club like Baltimore, they don't have anything to be embarrassed about, and I wish them good luck. And I know that he'll do a great job, and with Art Williams at the helm, at the leadership, I'll tell you one thing, it's a great effort by Birmingham, and I hope the people back there support it.
Now both teams walking to midfield.
Like I said.
There's Coach Don Matthews, and we hope to get a visit with him. Final score, Baltimore 37, Birmingham nothing. We'll be back, our post-game show ahead here on Prime Sports as Baltimore into the win column here in their final preseason test.
Don't blink, because every second counts.
Don Matthews entering his 18th NFL season, over 100 wins, 110. And, Coach, looks like you've got the team to beat again this season in the CFL. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rimmer. I'll tell you what, we've got a good football team. This is our second year. We ended very, very strong, and we picked up right where we left off. So our football team and players are working very hard, and I think we're going to have a great year.
Coach, you've had a lot of ball players out there tonight. We're vying for some jobs. I saw some great efforts. Little Shannon Culver came through with some great receptions down there. Some of the other guys, Chris Wright played very good ball. And again, Tracy Ham coming up with a great 3 quarters, played a great game.
Yeah, we needed to get Tracy some work, and excuse me, I'm glad we were able to get him some work, and it was good quality work. Wright really is a spectacular football player. He does a lot of things. He was pretty tired at the end, but that's a welcome to the CFL with the fast pace. And, you know, Culver, he was out there playing because Walter Wilson hurt his shoulder a little bit, and he certainly didn't hurt his chances.
Well, last year, Coach, you had a chance to bring the CFL to Baltimore, and the success, well, it speaks for itself. What do you tell the folks tuning in tonight in Birmingham about their first-year football club?
Well, there will be some growing pains, and it really is very difficult. It's a different football game, and until everybody gets to know the little funny parts about it, it's going to take some time. But they've got a good football team, and it looks like they've got some great athletes. Once they learn the game a little better, they're going to be a fine team.
Well, there he is, the 6th winningest coach in CFL history. Unfinished business. Coach Matthews, hope to see you at the Grey Cup.
Thanks a lot, Rimmer.
Coach, great.